My beloved child, this message was prepared especially for you. Before you wonder how you arrived here, before you tell yourself it was only chance or another ordinary moment, listen carefully to my voice. There is a reason your eyes are reading these words right now. Out of all the places you could have been, out of all the voices you could have heard, you are here because I wanted your heart to hear mine. I have been waiting for this moment, not because I only just noticed you, but because I have always known the exact day and hour when your soul would be ready to receive these words. You have carried questions that no one else could answer. You have smiled while hiding burdens that few people ever noticed. There have been moments when you wondered if anyone truly understood the weight you carried inside. You whispered prayers that seemed to disappear into silence. You searched for signs that I was still near. Even when you could not see me, I was closer than your next breath, watching over every step you took. Perhaps today you are tired. Perhaps your heart feels stretched between hope and disappointment. Maybe you have reached a place where you no longer know what comes next. You have tried to stay strong, yet there are days when strength feels impossible to find. My beloved child, I know every hidden tear you never allowed anyone else to see. I know every sleepless night, every unanswered question, every fear that quietly settled into your thoughts. Nothing about your story has escaped my attention. Do not rush away from this moment. Do not convince yourself that these words are meant for someone else. They are for you. I am speaking directly to your heart because I know exactly what you need before you even ask. I know the pieces of your life that seem confusing. I know the chapters that left you wounded. I also know the beautiful future that you cannot yet imagine. There is something I want you to understand before we go any further. I never speak empty words. When I call you my beloved child, I mean it completely. My love for you has never depended on your success, your failures, your strength, or your weakness. It has remained steady through every season of your life. Even when you doubted yourself, I never doubted the purpose I placed within you. So open your heart a little wider. Lay down, if only for this moment, the fear that tells you nothing will ever change. Release the voice that says you have been forgotten. Those voices have spoken long enough. Now let mine speak louder. I have not brought you here to remind you of your pain. I have brought you here to reveal my presence within it. Every word you are about to hear has been prepared with love, with purpose, and with perfect timing. Stay with me, my beloved child, because this is only the beginning, and what I am about to reveal will remind you that you have never been alone, not for a single moment. My beloved child, I have seen every hidden battle you have fought, even the ones no one else could recognize. The world has often measured your life by what could be seen on the outside, but I have always looked deeper. I have watched your heart when you smiled through disappointment. I have listened when your prayers became quiet because you no longer had the strength to find the right words. I have remained beside you when you felt surrounded by people yet painfully alone. Never believe that your struggles have been invisible to me, because I have been present in every single moment. There were mornings when you woke up carrying a heaviness that you could not explain. You completed your responsibilities, spoke kindly to others, and continued moving forward. Yet inside you wondered how much longer you could keep pretending everything was fine. I knew those moments. I counted every tear that never reached your eyes because you held it back. I heard every sigh that escaped when no one else was listening. I understood every silent conversation that took place inside your heart. Sometimes you questioned whether I had forgotten you because your circumstances refused to change. You looked around and saw others celebrating while you were still waiting. You wondered why your answers seemed delayed. You wondered why healing took so long. You wondered why certain doors remained closed no matter how hard you knocked. My beloved child, your questions never offended me. Your honesty never pushed me away. I would rather hear your weary heart speak truthfully than watch you carry burdens in silence. I have never been afraid of your doubts, because my love is greater than every question you have ever asked. Imagine a shepherd walking through the night, searching for one precious lamb that wandered into dangerous places. The lamb cannot always see the shepherd, but the shepherd never stops searching until the lamb is safely held again. That is how I have cared for you. Even when fear led you into lonely valleys, my eyes never left you. Even when confusion clouded your vision, my hand remained stretched toward you. You may have felt abandoned, but you were never abandoned. You may have felt forgotten, but your name has always remained close to my heart. There were dangers you never noticed because I quietly protected you. There were opportunities that would have harmed you if they had arrived too soon, so I lovingly held them back. There were moments when you believed everything was falling apart, while I was carefully preventing something far worse from reaching you. You only saw the closed door. I saw the storm waiting behind it. You only saw the delay. I saw the protection hidden within it. I also saw the kindness you showed when your own heart was hurting. I noticed the encouragement you gave to someone else while secretly wishing someone would encourage you. I saw every act of compassion that no one thanked you for. I saw every sacrifice you made without recognition. Nothing done with love is ever wasted in my eyes. The world may overlook those quiet moments, but I treasure them because they reveal the beauty I placed within you. My beloved child, do not mistake my patience for absence. While you have been walking through difficult seasons, I have been strengthening parts of you that comfort could never strengthen. Just as a tree grows its deepest roots during seasons of wind and rain, your spirit has been growing in ways you cannot yet measure. You have become more compassionate because you have known pain. You have become more understanding because you have experienced disappointment. You have become more resilient because you kept taking another step, even when every step required courage. I know there have been nights when you whispered, "How much longer?" I heard those words. I did not turn away from them. In fact, I drew even closer. Sometimes my greatest work happens in the quiet places where human eyes cannot see. While you believed nothing was changing, I was gently restoring your heart, teaching you wisdom, building your character, and preparing blessings that require a stronger foundation than you realized. So let your heart rest for a moment. You do not have to convince me that your pain is real. I already know. You do not have to prove your worth to me. You have always been precious in my sight. You do not have to carry every burden alone anymore. Place them into my hands, one by one. Bring me your fears, your disappointments, your unanswered questions, and even your weariness. I am not asking you to pretend everything is perfect. I am simply asking you to trust that I am still writing your story. The chapter you are living today is not the end. I have seen every hidden battle, and because I have walked beside you through each one, I also know the victory that is waiting just ahead. My beloved child, there were many times when you believed I had become silent. You prayed with hope, then waited. You searched for answers, then waited longer. Days turned into weeks, and weeks became months. In those quiet stretches of time, you wondered if my voice had grown distant. You questioned whether I was listening at all. Yet I want you to know something that can change the way you see every season of waiting. My silence has never meant my absence. When you could not hear me speaking, I was still working with perfect wisdom, perfect love, and perfect purpose. Think of a seed that is gently placed into the ground. The moment it disappears beneath the soil, it seems as though nothing is happening. To anyone looking from above, the earth appears unchanged. There are no leaves reaching toward the sky. There are no flowers announcing that life has begun. It looks quiet. It looks empty. It even looks forgotten. But beneath the surface, something remarkable is taking place. Tiny roots are reaching downward. New life is forming where no human eye can see it. The seed is not dead. It is being prepared for a future that requires strong foundations. My beloved child, there have been seasons when your life looked exactly like that seed. You thought your dreams had been buried, but they were being planted. You believed your hopes had disappeared, but they were taking root in ways you could not yet understand. You looked at the silence and assumed I was doing nothing. I looked at the same silence and saw beautiful beginnings unfolding exactly as I had planned. If I had given you everything the moment you asked, some blessings would have become burdens because the time was not yet right. A tree that grows too quickly without deep roots cannot stand when strong winds arrive. In the same way, I have been growing your roots before revealing the harvest. I have been strengthening your heart before placing greater responsibilities into your hands. What felt like delay was often preparation. What felt like emptiness was often quiet growth. Remember the moments when one opportunity disappeared just as you thought your future depended on it. You grieved because you believed the door should have remained open. Yet later, you discovered that what you lost was never meant to define your life. Even when you did not fully understand, my hand was guiding your steps away from paths that would have brought unnecessary pain. My plans have always reached farther than your present understanding. There is a rhythm to everything I create. The sun does not rush its sunrise. The rivers do not hurry their journey to the sea. The seasons never compete with one another. Spring does not become summer overnight, yet every season fulfills its purpose. In the same way, I have never been late in your life. I have never forgotten an appointment with your destiny. Every chapter has unfolded according to wisdom that sees beyond today. You often ask me for the full picture, but I lovingly give you the next step instead. If you could see everything at once, fear might overwhelm you or pride might distract you. So I lead you one step at a time, allowing your trust to grow stronger with every season. Faith is not built by seeing every answer before you move. Faith grows when you choose to walk even while the road ahead is still hidden. My beloved child, there were conversations I arranged that you did not know were being prepared. There were hearts I was already softening before you ever met them. There were opportunities quietly moving toward you while you believed nothing was happening. There were prayers spoken by others that would one day become part of your blessing. I was weaving together countless details beyond your sight, creating connections that only my wisdom could design. What seemed random to you was carefully ordered by my loving hand. Do not let the quiet seasons convince you that your story has stopped. The author has never abandoned the page. Every line is still being written with intention. Every pose has meaning. Every unanswered question will one day reveal a deeper answer than you expected. When the time is right, you will look back and realize that my silence was filled with unseen miracles. So when you find yourself in another season where my voice seems quiet, do not let your heart become discouraged. Listen more deeply. Look beyond what your eyes can measure. Trust the one who has never failed you, even when you could not recognize his hand. I am still opening paths where you see walls. I am still healing wounds that no one else knows exist. I am still arranging moments that will remind you of my faithfulness. My beloved child, while you were wondering whether I had stopped working, I was already preparing the answer that would arrive at exactly the right time. Hold on with hope, because the roots I have been growing in secret will soon become a testimony that everyone can see. My beloved child, the weight you have been carrying was never meant to crush your spirit. I have watched you shoulder responsibilities that seem too heavy for one heart to bear. You have carried worries about tomorrow while still trying to recover from yesterday. You have held on to disappointments, replayed painful conversations, and wondered if you would ever feel truly at peace again. You have become so accustomed to carrying these burdens that they have begun to feel like a part of who you are. But I did not create you to live beneath the constant pressure of fear, regret, and exhaustion. I created you to walk in the freedom of my love. There is a difference between carrying responsibility and carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. Responsibility helps you grow, but unnecessary burdens slowly steal your joy. They whisper that you must solve every problem on your own. They convince you that everything depends entirely upon your strength. They tell you that if you stop worrying, everything will fall apart. Those whispers do not come from me. My voice has never demanded that you become your own savior. I have always invited you to trust the one who already holds tomorrow in his hands. Imagine a traveler walking along a long and difficult road with a heavy pack across their shoulders. At first, they believe they can manage it. They keep walking, determined to prove their strength. But as the miles pass, the load grows heavier. Their steps become slower. Their back begins to ache. Their eyes no longer notice the beauty around them because every thought is focused on the burden they carry. Then someone comes beside them and gently says, "You do not have to carry this alone. Let me take what is too heavy for you." Yet the traveler hesitates, not because help is unavailable, but because they have forgotten what it feels like to walk without the weight. My beloved child, you have sometimes been that traveler. You have become so familiar with anxiety that peace feels unfamiliar. You have held tightly to pain because you feared that letting go might leave you vulnerable. You have believed that carrying every burden was a sign of wisdom or responsibility. But I am calling you to something greater. I am calling you to trust. Trust is not weakness. Trust is the courage to place what you cannot control into my hands and believe that my hands are stronger than yours. There are regrets you continue to carry, believing they define your future. You replay old mistakes, wishing you could rewrite moments that have already passed. Listen carefully to me, my beloved child. I do not ask you to live inside yesterday. I have already seen every failure, every wrong decision, every missed opportunity, and still I have never withdrawn my love from you. If I have not condemned you, why do you continue to condemn yourself? Learn from the past, but do not build your home there. Your future is not waiting behind you. It is waiting ahead. There are also fears about tomorrow that have quietly settled into your heart. You wonder if you will have enough, if the right doors will open, if healing will come, if your family will be safe, if your dreams will ever become reality. Those questions feel heavy because you keep trying to answer them alone. But tomorrow does not belong to fear. Tomorrow belongs to me. I already stand in every day that is still hidden from your eyes. I know the paths you have not yet walked. I know the conversations you have not yet had. I know the victories that are still on their way. Why carry the fear of a future that is already safely held in my care? Even the wounds caused by others can become burdens when you refuse to release them. I know betrayal hurts. I know unfair words leave scars. I know broken trust can make your heart cautious. I have never minimized your pain. But when you hold tightly to bitterness, it becomes another weight that steals your strength. I am inviting you to lay it down, not because what happened was acceptable, but because I desire your heart to be free. Freedom begins when you allow me to carry what has been crushing your soul. My beloved child, surrender is not giving up. Surrender is placing your confidence in someone whose wisdom is greater than your own. It is choosing peace over panic, hope over despair, and faith over fear. Every burden you place into my hands creates room in your heart for my peace to take its place. Every anxious thought you release allows my comfort to fill the empty space. Every regret you surrender opens the door for new beginnings. So come to me just as you are. Do not wait until you feel stronger. Do not wait until every problem has been solved. Bring me your tired heart, your restless mind, your unanswered questions, and your deepest fears. I am not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. I am not discouraged by what discourages you. I am your Father, and I delight in lifting what has become too heavy for my beloved child. Let today be the moment you loosen your grip on the burdens that have defined your journey for too long. As you place them into my hands, you will discover that the peace I give is stronger than the weight you have carried, and my love is greater than every burden you have ever known. My beloved child, there were moments in your life when you believed you were walking through the darkest valley alone. The nights seemed longer than the days, and every sunrise felt as though it brought the same unanswered questions. You searched for evidence that I was near, but all you could see were the shadows surrounding you. You wondered why I had not removed the pain. You wondered why I had allowed the storm to continue. Yet even in those moments, when your heart felt overwhelmed and your strength seemed to disappear, I never took a single step away from you. Not once did I abandon you. Not once did I leave you to face your struggles by yourself. There were times when disappointment came one after another, and you questioned whether hope was still worth holding on to. One door closed before another could open. A relationship changed in ways you never expected. A dream you had carefully nurtured seemed to slip through your fingers. You looked at the pieces of your life and wondered if they could ever be made whole again. My beloved child, while you were looking at broken pieces, I was already seeing the masterpiece that those pieces would become in my hands. Think of a parent teaching a young child to walk. The child stumbles. They lose their balance. Sometimes they fall. Yet the loving parent does not stand far away with folded arms. The parent stays close, ready to catch them, encouraging every small step forward. Even when the child falls, the parent is already reaching down with gentle hands. In the same way, I have remained close to you through every stumble and every setback. Your falls never surprised me, and they never caused me to stop loving you. Instead, they became opportunities for me to remind you that my strength is always greater than your weakness. There were dangers you never recognized because my protection surrounded you in ways you could not see. There were accidents that never happened because I redirected your path. There were conversations you never had because I closed a door that would have brought unnecessary sorrow. There were choices you almost made that would have led you into deeper pain, but I quietly guided your heart in another direction. You may never know how many times my unseen hand protected you from what could have been. My care for you has never depended on whether you noticed it. My love has always been active, even when it was invisible. I remember every prayer you whispered through tears. I remember the moments when your voice trembled because you had reached the end of your own strength. I remember the nights when all you could say was my name because the burden felt too heavy for words. My beloved child, those prayers were never ignored. Every cry from your heart reached me. Even when the answer did not come as quickly as you hoped, I was listening with perfect attention. I was holding you close while preparing an answer that matched my wisdom instead of your fear. There were also seasons when you blamed yourself for everything that went wrong. You carried guilt for things beyond your control. You wondered if you had somehow disappointed me beyond repair. Hear my heart clearly today. My love has never been fragile. It has never depended on your ability to live without mistakes. I knew every weakness you would face before you ever took your first breath, and still I chose to call you my beloved child. Nothing about your brokenness has ever surprised me. My grace has always been greater than your failures. Sometimes my presence was not found in dramatic miracles, but in quiet mercies that arrived each day. It was the unexpected strength to get out of bed when you thought you could not face another morning. It was the friend who called at just the right time. It was the small moment of peace that settled over your heart without explanation. It was the courage to keep going when everything inside you wanted to give up. Those were not coincidences. Those were reminders that I was walking beside you, carrying you through places where your own strength would never have been enough. Look back for a moment, my beloved child. Think about all the seasons you believed you would never survive. Remember the days when you thought your heart would never heal, when the future seemed impossible to imagine. Yet here you are. You are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still moving forward. That is not because you carried yourself this far. It is because my hand had been holding yours every step of the journey. Even when you felt too weak to walk, I carried you through valleys you never could have crossed alone. As you continue forward, do not allow the memories of past darkness to convince you that darkness has the final word. The night has never been stronger than the dawn I have prepared. Every valley has an ending. Every storm eventually gives way to calm skies. Every season of sorrow is followed by new hope in my perfect time. I have never left you during your darkest days, and I never will. Wherever you go from this moment on, my presence will go before you, walk beside you, and remain behind you as your protection. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are deeply loved, completely known, and forever held in the faithful embrace of your Heavenly Father. My beloved child, I am healing places within you that nobody else can see. There are wounds hidden so deeply that even the people closest to you do not know they exist. You have learned how to smile while carrying pain. You have learned how to answer, "I'm doing fine," even when your heart feels anything but fine. The world often sees your actions, your words, and your achievements, but I see the quiet places where your soul still aches. I know the memories that return without warning. I know the moments that still make your heart feel heavy. I know the scars left behind by rejection, betrayal, disappointment, and loss. I have never looked away from those wounded places. Instead, I have gently moved closer to them. Healing is not something I rush because I care too deeply about your heart to treat it carelessly. A skilled gardener does not pull on a flower to make it bloom faster. Instead, the gardener patiently waters it, protects it, and gives it everything it needs to grow strong. In the same way, I have been tending to your heart with perfect patience. Every day, even when you cannot feel it, my love is reaching into places that have been hurting for far too long. Perhaps someone spoke words over your life that made you question your worth. Maybe you were told you would never be enough. Perhaps someone you trusted broke your confidence and left you wondering whether you could ever trust again. Those words and those moments may have shaped your thoughts, but they have never defined your identity. I alone know who you truly are because I formed you with love before anyone else ever knew your name. The opinions of others may have wounded you, but they do not have the authority to decide your value. Your worth has always come from me, and my opinion of you has never changed. There are disappointments that still linger in your heart, dreams that did not unfold the way you expected, relationships that ended before you were ready to let go, opportunities that slipped away despite your greatest efforts. Sometimes you wonder if those losses permanently changed something inside you. My beloved child, I understand why you ask those questions. But listen carefully. What was broken is not beyond my ability to restore. I specialize in bringing life where others see only loss. I create beauty where the world expects permanent ruin. Think about a piece of pottery that has fallen and shattered across the floor. To many people, it appears ruined beyond repair. They sweep the broken pieces aside because they no longer see any purpose in them. But an artist with loving hands can gather every fragment and patiently restore what was broken into something even more beautiful than before. That is how I work within your life. I have never thrown away the broken pieces of your story. I have been collecting them with great care, knowing exactly how they will fit together again. The places where you experience the deepest pain can become the places where my grace shines the brightest. Do not become discouraged if your healing feels slower than you expected. Some wounds heal in a single moment, while others require time because they reach so deeply into the heart. Neither process is beyond my power. Every step forward matters, even when it feels small. Every time you choose hope instead of despair, forgiveness instead of bitterness, or trust instead of fear, healing grows stronger within you. Those quiet victories are precious to me because they reveal that your heart is learning to live freely again. You may still carry questions that have no immediate answers. You may still wonder why certain things happened at all. While I may not reveal every reason today, I promise that I never waste your pain. The tears you have cried have watered seeds of compassion within you. The loneliness you experienced has given you the ability to recognize the loneliness of others. The trials you endured have shaped a strength that comfort alone could never have produced. One day, you will discover that the very places you once wanted to hide became the places through which my love reached someone else. My beloved child, stop believing the lie that you are permanently damaged. Stop agreeing with the voice that says you will always be defined by your wounds. Those voices do not come from me. I see beyond your scars. I see the whole person I created you to become. I see joy returning where sorrow once lived. I see confidence replacing fear. I see peace growing where anxiety once ruled. I see hope rising again, even if you can only see a small glimpse of it today. So allow me to continue my work within you. Do not close the doors of your heart because you are afraid of being hurt again. Bring every hidden wound into my light. Let me touch the places you have tried to protect from everyone else. I will never handle your heart roughly. I will never shame you for your weakness. I will never grow tired of restoring you. My healing is gentle, complete, and filled with unwavering love. The journey may take time, but I promise you this: I will not leave my work unfinished. The heart that feels wounded today will one day become a testimony of my faithfulness, and you will discover that the deepest healing often begins in the quiet places where only you and I meet together. My beloved child, it is time to stop measuring your future by your past. For too long, you have allowed yesterday's disappointments to become the ruler by which you judge tomorrow's possibilities. You have looked at old failures and quietly wondered if they had already decided the rest of your story. You have replayed painful memories, believing they would always be stronger than the hope I placed within you. But I want you to hear my voice clearly today. Your past may explain some of your wounds, but it does not determine your destiny. I have never written your future with the ink of your failures. I've always written it with the unchanging love and purpose that have been in my heart for you from the very beginning. When the night is at its darkest, it can feel as though the sun has disappeared forever. Yet the darkness has never had the power to stop the dawn. The sunrise does not ask the night's permission before it fills the sky with light. It simply arrives at the appointed time, reminding the world that darkness was only temporary. My beloved child, your life is much like that sunrise. The painful chapters you have endured are not permanent. They are not the final pages of your story. I have already prepared a new morning even if you cannot yet see the first light breaking across the horizon. There are memories you continue to carry like heavy stones in your hands. Some remind you of mistakes you made. Others remind you of opportunities you missed, relationships that ended, or words you wish had never been spoken. Every time you hold those memories too tightly, they whisper that you are still the same person you were then. But you are not. Every season you have walked through has shaped you. Every lesson you have learned has strengthened you. Every tear you have cried has deepened your compassion. You are no longer standing where you once fell. I have been leading you forward, even during the moments when you believed you were standing still. Do not confuse your memories with your identity. Your identity has never been found in your worst moment. It has never been defined by your greatest regret. It has never depended upon the opinions of those who misunderstood you or the voices that tried to convince you that you would never change. Your identity has always rested in the truth that you are my beloved child. Nothing that happened yesterday has the authority to erase what I have spoken over your life. Imagine an artist beginning a beautiful painting. At first, the canvas is covered with rough outlines and colors that seem out of place. To someone who only sees the early stages, the work might appear unfinished or even confusing. But the artist never judges the final masterpiece by the unfinished sketch. Every brushstroke has a purpose. Every layer contributes to the beauty that will eventually be revealed. In the same way, do not judge your entire life by a few unfinished chapters. I am still painting. The colors that seem confusing today will one day reveal a picture more beautiful than you ever imagined. Sometimes you compare yourself to others and wonder why their journey appears easier than yours. You see their victories without seeing their hidden struggles. You notice their harvest without remembering the years they spent planting seeds in faith. Comparison quietly steals the joy I desire for you because it shifts your attention away from the unique path I have designed. I did not create you to become someone else. I created you to become the fullest expression of who I formed you to be. Your journey is different because your purpose is different. The timing of your blessings is different because the work I am doing within you is uniquely yours. There may still be voices from your past that echo in your thoughts. Perhaps someone once told you that you would never succeed. Perhaps they made you feel invisible, unwanted, or incapable. Those words may have lingered for years, but they are not stronger than my truth. I have spoken life over you since before you were born. My words have never changed with your circumstances. When others doubted you, I still believed in the purpose I placed inside you. When you doubted yourself, I continued preparing opportunities that matched the gifts I had already placed within your heart. My beloved child, every new day is a reminder that I specialize in fresh beginnings. Just as the earth welcomes a new sunrise without carrying the darkness of the previous night, I invite you to welcome each new season without allowing old fears to govern your expectations. You cannot fully embrace what I am bringing into your life if your hands remain tightly closed around what has already passed. Release the need to relive every painful memory. Release the habit of expecting yesterday's disappointments to repeat themselves. Release the belief that your best days are behind you. Lift your eyes toward the future I am preparing. There is still joy waiting for you. There are still relationships that will bring healing instead of hurt. There are still opportunities that will awaken gifts you have not yet discovered. There are still moments of peace that will replace nights of anxiety. There are still victories that will make you look back and understand why certain doors had to close. I have not finished writing your story, and the chapters ahead are filled with hope greater than your fears, grace greater than your regrets, and love greater than every shadow your past has tried to cast over your future. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child, because the road ahead is no longer defined by where you have been. It is defined by where I am leading you. My beloved child, I created you with purpose long before you ever understood your own name. Before anyone spoke expectations over your life, before the world tried to tell you who you should become, I already knew the unique design I had placed within you. You were never an accident. You were never an afterthought. You were never simply another face in the crowd. Every part of your life has been known by me from the very beginning, and every gift I placed inside you was chosen with intention. There have been times when you questioned whether your life truly mattered. You looked at your ordinary days and wondered if they carried any lasting significance. You compared your journey with someone else's and quietly asked why your path seemed slower, more difficult, or less noticeable. My beloved child, do not mistake quiet seasons for meaningless ones. The greatest works I accomplish often begin where no applause can be heard. The deepest roots grow where no human eye can see them. In the same way, I have been shaping your character in hidden places because what I am preparing for you requires a foundation that cannot be built through recognition alone. Think of an orchestra preparing to perform a beautiful piece of music. Every instrument has its own sound. The violin cannot replace the trumpet. A flute cannot become the drum. If every instrument tried to sound the same, the music would lose its beauty. Harmony exists because each one fulfills the purpose for which it was created. My beloved child, your life is part of a greater masterpiece. You were not created to imitate another person. You were created to bring a unique melody into the world, one that no one else can offer in the way you can. Comparison has quietly stolen joy from your heart more times than you realize. You have looked at another person's success and wondered if there was still room for your own. You have seen someone else's blessings and questioned whether I had forgotten yours. But my love is not divided into limited portions. I do not bless one child by taking from another. I have prepared a path specifically for you, and it does not require you to become someone else before you can walk in it. There are gifts within you that may still seem small in your own eyes. Perhaps you have a kind heart that notices people others overlook. Perhaps you have words that bring comfort, hands that serve faithfully, wisdom that quietly guides, or compassion that gently restores broken spirits. Do not underestimate these gifts because they seem ordinary. A single candle may appear small, yet it can fill an entire room with light. A tiny seed may seem insignificant, yet it can grow into a tree that provides shelter for generations. The value of what I place within you is never measured by its size but by the purpose for which I created it. I have also allowed certain experiences in your life to shape the way you fulfill your purpose. The hardships you endured were not only obstacles to overcome, they also became teachers. They taught you patience when life moved slowly. They taught you compassion when others were hurting. They taught you perseverance when giving up seemed easier than continuing. Even the chapters you wished had never happened have become part of the wisdom that now lives within you. I have never wasted a single moment of your journey. Do not believe the lie that it is too late for your purpose to unfold. Time has never limited my plans. Whether you feel young or old, whether you believe you have missed opportunities or are just beginning to discover who you are, I am still able to lead you into the work I prepared for you. I do not measure your life by the calendar. I measure it by my faithfulness. As long as you are walking with me, there is always another step to take, another life to encourage, another opportunity to reflect my love. Sometimes you have searched for purpose in dramatic moments while overlooking the quiet opportunities placed right in front of you. Purpose is not only found in extraordinary events. It is found in the daily choice to love when kindness is needed, to forgive when bitterness tempts you, to speak hope when others are discouraged, and to remain faithful in small responsibilities. Every act of obedience, no matter how unnoticed it may seem, becomes part of the greater story I am writing through your life. My beloved child, stop asking whether you are enough and begin remembering who created you. The one who formed the mountains, stretched out the heavens, and filled the seas with life also formed your heart with loving care. I did not create you lacking what you need to fulfill my calling. I have already placed within you the strength, the gifts, the compassion, and the courage that will grow as you continue walking beside me. What you need for tomorrow will be given when tomorrow arrives. So lift your eyes from the mirror of comparison and fix them upon the path I have placed before you. Walk it with confidence, not because you know every turn ahead, but because you know the one who is leading you. Celebrate the gifts I have entrusted to others without doubting the gifts I have entrusted to you. Trust that every step you take in faith is preparing you for the next one. Your purpose is not something you must desperately chase. It is something I am faithfully revealing as you continue to walk hand in hand with me. And as you follow my voice, you will discover that the life I designed for you is more beautiful, more meaningful, and more fulfilling than anything you could have imagined on your own. My beloved child, even now, while you are wondering what comes next, I am opening doors that you cannot yet see. You may look around and believe that nothing is changing. You may feel as though you have been standing in the same place for far too long. But what appears still to your eyes is often filled with quiet movement in my hands. I am always working beyond the limits of what you can see, arranging moments, preparing hearts, and creating opportunities that will reveal themselves at the right time. Just because a door is not opened yet does not mean it does not exist. You have often asked me for immediate answers because waiting can feel uncomfortable. The unknown can seem frightening, especially when your heart longs for certainty. You want to know where you are going, how everything will happen, and when your prayers will be answered. I understand that desire because I know your heart. But if I revealed every detail before you were ready, you might become overwhelmed by the journey ahead instead of trusting the one who walks beside you. That is why I reveal my plans one step at a time. Each step prepares you for the next, and every season builds the strength needed for the one that follows. Think about the dawn before the sun rises. The world is still wrapped in darkness, yet the light has already begun its journey. Although your eyes cannot fully see it, morning is already on its way. No one can stop it, and no one can delay it. It arrives according to the rhythm I established from the beginning. In the same way, the blessings I have prepared for you are already moving closer, even if they remain hidden beyond today's horizon. Do not mistake the darkness before sunrise for the absence of light. There are conversations already unfolding that will one day connect with your life. There are people I am preparing to encourage you, to walk beside you, and to help you grow into the person I created you to become. There are opportunities developing in places you have never visited. There are answers traveling toward prayers you have almost forgotten you prayed. While you have been focused on what is immediately in front of you, I have been weaving together countless details that only my wisdom can fully understand. Remember the doors that closed in the past. At the time, you believed those moments marked the end of your hopes. You questioned why I allowed disappointment to enter your life. Yet when you look back now, can you not see that some of those closed doors protected you from paths that would not have brought you peace? Some opportunities looked beautiful from a distance, but I saw what lay beyond them. I closed certain doors not to punish you but to preserve the future I had already planned. Loving Father does not open every door simply because his child asks. He opens the right doors at the right time. My beloved child, preparation often happens long before opportunity appears. A builder does not begin with a roof. The foundation must be laid first. Though it may seem slow, every careful step ensures that the house can stand through every season. In the same way, I have been building strength within your heart. I have been teaching you patience, humility, wisdom, and compassion because the blessings I have prepared require a heart that is ready to receive them. What feels like delay is often the quiet work of preparation. Do not become discouraged by what you cannot yet see. Faith grows strongest when it learns to trust beyond visible evidence. It is easy to believe when every answer is already in your hands. But true confidence is formed when you continue walking even while many questions remain unanswered. Every day you choose hope instead of despair. You are strengthening the very faith that will carry you through the doors I am about to open. There may be moments when fear whispers that you have missed your opportunity. It may tell you that you waited too long, that someone else has taken your place, or that your dreams have already passed you by. Do not listen to that voice. The plans I have written for your life cannot be stolen by another person. What I have prepared for you remains yours in my perfect timing. No delay, no disappointment, and no obstacle is powerful enough to cancel what I have lovingly ordained. Lift your eyes above your present circumstances. Do not allow today's limitations to define tomorrow's possibilities. I see beyond the walls that seem to surround you. I already know the path that leads beyond them. When you cannot see a way forward, remember that I specialize in creating roads where none appear to exist. I have never been limited by closed doors, impossible situations, or human expectations. My power is not confined by what seems realistic to the world. So continue to walk faithfully with me, my beloved child. Keep your heart open, your spirit willing, and your hope alive. Celebrate the small victories along the way, for they are signs that my hand is already moving in your life. Trust that every lesson you have learned, every trial you have endured, and every season you have patiently walked through has been preparing you for what is ahead. The doors I am opening will not require you to force your way through them. When the appointed moment arrives, I will open them with my own hand, and no one will be able to close what I have opened. Until that day comes, rest in the assurance that your future is safe with me, and the path before you is already being prepared by my unfailing love. My beloved child, trust me one step at a time. I know your heart longs to see the entire road before you begin walking. You want certainty before you take the next step. You want every question answered before you move forward. But I have never asked you to carry the map. I have only asked you to hold my hand. The journey I have prepared for you is not built upon your ability to predict tomorrow. It is built upon your willingness to trust the one who already stands in every tomorrow you cannot yet see. Think about a traveler walking through the night with a small lamp in hand. The lamp does not illuminate the entire journey. It does not reveal every mountain, every valley, or every turn in the road. It simply provides enough light for the next few steps. Yet those few steps are enough. As the traveler continues walking, more of the path becomes visible. In the same way, my guidance often comes one step at a time. I give you enough light for today's obedience, knowing that tomorrow's light will arrive when tomorrow becomes today. There have been moments when you hesitated because you feared making the wrong decision. You became so concerned about choosing the perfect path that you found yourself standing still. My beloved child, do not let fear keep you from moving. When your heart is sincerely seeking me, I am faithful to guide you. Even if you stumble, I am able to redirect your steps. My grace is greater than your mistakes, and my wisdom is greater than your uncertainty. You are not walking this journey alone, trying to guess your way through life. You are walking with a Father who delights in leading his beloved child. Sometimes I ask you to take a step before you understand why it matters. This is not because I desire confusion, but because I desire trust. A child does not need to understand every reason a loving father gives direction. The child simply trusts the father's heart. In time, understanding often follows obedience. Many of the answers you seek today will become clear only after you have taken the next faithful step. Do not underestimate the power of small acts of faith. A quiet prayer spoken with sincerity. A kind word offered to someone who is discouraged. A decision to forgive instead of holding on to bitterness. A choice to continue believing even when circumstances have not yet changed. These moments may seem small, but they are shaping the direction of your life. Every faithful step brings you closer to the future I have prepared. There will be days when the road feels smooth and your confidence is strong. There will also be days when the path seems steep and your strength feels limited. In both seasons, my presence remains the same. I do not walk ahead of you only during your victories, nor do I leave you during your struggles. I remain beside you through every joy and every challenge. When you feel weak, lean on me. When you feel uncertain, listen for my voice. When you feel afraid, remember that I have already gone before you. Do not measure your progress by comparing your journey with someone else's. I lead each of my children according to the purpose I have placed within them. Some paths require longer preparation. Some lessons take deeper root. What matters is not how quickly you arrive, but how faithfully you walk. I am not rushing you. I am forming you. Every step taken with trust is accomplishing something eternal within your heart. When you cannot see the destination, remember the many times I have already carried you through situations you once believed were impossible. I was faithful then, and I remain faithful now. My character does not change with your circumstances. My promises do not weaken because your confidence hath been shaken. Continue placing one foot in front of the other, knowing that every step taken with me is leading you exactly where you need to be. As you continue this journey with me, I want you to understand that the hope I am planting in your heart is not meant to remain with you alone. I desire this message of love, healing, and restoration to reach many other hearts that are waiting for my voice. If these words have strengthened your spirit today, let your response become part of that mission. I am inviting you to sow into ground that bears eternal fruit. Remember my promise that whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and let those words become living truth within your own life. When you choose to give through Super Thanks, become a channel member, or bless this ministry through the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and through the QR code shown in the video, you are helping my light reach souls who are still searching for hope. Let your generosity become a river through which my comfort flows into homes you may never see. This is your moment to answer my invitation with faith and obedience. I will remember every seed planted with a willing heart, and I will breathe my blessing upon those who choose to build my kingdom with joyful generosity. Do not delay the good that can be done through your hands. Step forward now, sow your seed, and let my love reach the hearts I have prepared. My beloved child, every delay you have experienced has carried a purpose that you could not always see. I know waiting has tested your heart. There were moments when you believed that if I truly heard your prayers, the answer would have come much sooner. You watched time pass and wondered if your hopes had been forgotten. You questioned why doors remained closed when you were ready to walk through them. Yet I want you to understand something that can bring peace to your soul. A delay in my timing is never a denial of my love. What feels slow to you is often the careful work of my wisdom. Think of a master builder preparing a home that will stand for generations. The strongest parts of the house are not the ones people admire from the outside. The foundation is buried beneath the ground where few people ever notice it. It takes time to prepare because every layer must be strong enough to support everything that will be built above it. If the builder rushed the process, the entire structure would become vulnerable. My beloved child, I have been building a foundation within you that is far stronger than you realize. The waiting has not been empty. It has been preparing you to carry blessings that require strength, patience, and wisdom. There were opportunities you desperately wanted, yet they slipped away before you could hold them. At the time, your heart was filled with disappointment. You believed you had missed something that would never return. But I saw what you could not see. I knew where those paths would have led. I knew the burdens they would have placed upon you. What appeared to be loss was often my protection. What seemed like rejection was often my loving direction. I was not keeping good things from you. I was keeping you for better things. You have sometimes looked at other people and wondered why their answers appeared to come more quickly than yours. You asked yourself why their prayers seemed to be fulfilled while you remained in a season of waiting. My beloved child, every life unfolds according to a unique purpose. I do not write every story in the same way because every heart is being prepared for a different calling. If you compare your timeline to someone else's, you may become discouraged by a journey that was never meant to be yours. Trust the path I have chosen for you, because I know exactly what will help you become the person I created you to be. Remember a piece of fruit growing on a tree. If it is picked before it has fully ripened, it may look beautiful on the outside, but it will not have developed the sweetness it was meant to carry. Time is not the enemy of growth. Time often completes it. In the same way, there have been blessings that seemed delayed because I was allowing every part of your life to mature together. I was preparing not only the opportunity but also your heart to receive it with gratitude, humility, and wisdom. There were relationships I did not allow to continue because I knew they would slowly pull your heart away from peace. There were plans that did not succeed because they would have distracted you from your true purpose. There were moments when you pleaded for one outcome while I was quietly preparing another that would bring greater joy than you could imagine. Looking back, you may already recognize some of these moments. What once caused tears eventually revealed my faithfulness. What once felt confusing eventually became clear. My beloved child, I have never wasted a single day of your waiting. Every sunrise you experience while wondering if change would ever come was shaping something within you. Patience was taking root. Compassion was growing stronger. Faith was becoming deeper. You were learning to rely on my presence instead of your own understanding. These treasures cannot always be gained in seasons of comfort. They are often formed in the quiet places where trust becomes your daily choice. Do not allow discouragement to convince you that nothing is happening simply because you cannot see immediate results. The greatest transformations often occur beneath the surface. Just as roots grow silently before branches reach toward the sky, I have been strengthening your inner life before revealing outward blessings. When the time comes for what I have prepared to appear, it will stand on a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. So when another season of waiting comes, do not greet it with fear. Welcome it with confidence, knowing that I am still working. Instead of asking only, "When will this end?" also ask, "What are you teaching me in this moment?" You will discover that my presence is not reserved for the destination. It is found in every step of the journey. I walk with you in the waiting just as faithfully as I walk with you in the fulfillment. My beloved child, lift your heart and release the burden of believing you have been left behind. You are exactly where my wisdom has placed you for this season. The doors that remain closed today will not stay closed forever if they are part of my purpose for your life. And the doors I have chosen not to open are acts of love, not neglect. Trust me with a timing you cannot understand. One day you will look back over this chapter and realize that every delay carried my protection, every pause held my preparation, and every moment of waiting was leading you toward a future far more beautiful than anything you could have arranged on your own. My beloved child, fear hath been speaking too loudly, and it is time for my voice to become louder than every anxious thought that has tried to settle in your heart. I know how fear works. It rarely arrives shouting. It often whispers. It quietly suggests that the worst will happen. It convinces you to expect disappointment before hope has a chance to grow. It tells you that your future is uncertain, your strength is insufficient, and your prayers may never be answered. But those whispers have never come from me. I have never spoken to you through hopelessness. My voice has always called you toward peace, courage, and trust. Fear has a way of making small problems appear like impossible mountains. It causes your mind to travel into tomorrows that have not yet arrived. It persuades you to carry burdens that do not even belong to today. Before you realize it, your heart becomes exhausted by battles that exist only in your imagination. My beloved child, I did not create you to live imprisoned by possibilities that may never happen. I created you to walk with confidence, knowing that whatever tomorrow brings, I will already be there waiting for you. Imagine a little child walking through a forest beside a loving father. The trees seem tall, the shadows appear mysterious, and every unfamiliar sound feels frightening. The child clings tightly to the father's hand, not because every fear has disappeared, but because the Father's presence is greater than every reason to be afraid. The forest has not changed it, but the child walks with peace because they trust the one leading them. In the same way, I am inviting you to stop measuring your courage by the size of your circumstances and begin measuring it by the greatness of my presence. You are not walking alone through the unknown. You are walking with me. There have been nights when your thoughts refuse to become quiet. You lay awake replaying conversations, worrying about finances, relationships, your health, your family, or the future. Your mind searched endlessly for answers that seemed just beyond your reach. I was there beside you through every restless hour. I saw the tension you carried. I heard the prayers you whispered between moments of silence. Even when sleep escaped you, my watchful care never did. I neither grow weary nor lose sight of my beloved child. Fear often tries to disguise itself as wisdom. It tells you that constant worrying will somehow prepare you for difficult days ahead. But worry has never created peace. It has never added strength to your spirit. It has never changed tomorrow for the better. Instead, it quietly steals the joy I intended you to experience today. Wisdom prepares with faith. Fear prepares with panic. One leads to peace. The other leads to exhaustion. I am calling you to choose the path of trust. Remember how many times you feared something that never came to pass. Think about the countless situations that caused your heart to tremble, only to discover later that I had already made a way through them. There were problems you believed would overwhelm you, yet here you stand today. Your seasons you thought would never end, yet I faithfully brought you through them. If I have carried you this far, why would I abandon you now? My faithfulness has not reached its limit. The same hands that sustained you yesterday are holding you securely today and will continue to guide you tomorrow. There is another way fear works. Sometimes it keeps you from embracing the very blessings I have prepared for you. It tells you not to trust because you were once betrayed. It tells you not to dream because you once experienced disappointment. It tells you not to step forward because you might fail. My beloved child, if you listen to fear long enough, it will convince you to remain standing outside the very doors I have opened for you. But I did not create you to live confined by yesterday's pain. I created you to walk boldly into the future I have prepared. This does not mean you will never face challenges. The road ahead will still have moments that test your faith. There will still be questions without immediate answers. There will still be days when courage feels difficult. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to keep walking because you trust me more than you trust your fears. Every step you take in faith weakens fear's grip upon your heart. Every time you choose my promises over anxious thoughts, your spirit grows stronger. When fearful thoughts begin to fill your mind, pause and remember who is speaking. Fear says you are alone. I remind you that I have never left your side. Fear says there is no way forward. I remind you that I create paths where none seem to exist. Fear says you are too weak. I remind you that my strength is made perfect when your own strength feels small. Fear says your story is ending. I remind you that I am still writing every chapter with love and purpose. My beloved child, do not allow fear to become the loudest voice in your life. Fill your heart with the truth of my presence. Let my promises become stronger than your worries. Let my peace settle over every anxious thought like gentle rain falling upon dry ground. I have not called you to live in constant uncertainty. I have called you to live in the confidence that your life is safely held in my hands. Walk forward with your head lifted high, your heart resting in my love, and your spirit anchored in the unchanging truth that no fear will ever be greater than the one who faithfully walks beside you every step of the way. My beloved child, your heart was made for peace. I did not create you to live each day weighed down by constant anxiety, restless thoughts, or the endless pressure of trying to control everything around you. I formed your heart to rest securely in my love, to find strength in my presence, and to experience a peace that remains steady even when the world around you feels uncertain. The storms of life may come and go, but I desire that your soul remain anchored in me, where no wind can steal the calm I have prepared for you. There have been times when you searched for peace in places that could never truly provide it. You hoped that if circumstances improved, your heart would finally become quiet. You believed that if every problem were solved, every relationship restored, every financial burden removed, and every unanswered question explained, then peace would finally arrive. But my beloved child, peace is not something the world can manufacture. It is not built upon perfect circumstances. It is born from trusting the one whose love never changes, even when everything else does. Imagine a great tree growing beside a flowing river. Through every season, its roots reach deep beneath the surface, drawing life from the water that never stops flowing. Strong winds may bend its branches. Heavy rain may shake its leaves. Long seasons of heat may come. Yet the tree remains standing because its strength does not come from the weather around it. Its strength comes from what is hidden beneath the ground. In the same way, I desire your heart to grow deep roots in my presence. When your soul drinks daily from my love, the changing seasons of life will no longer determine whether you stand or fall. You have carried worries that were never meant to become permanent companions. Some of those worries began as small concerns, but over time they grew larger because you visited them again and again in your thoughts. You replayed possible outcomes, imagined future disappointments, and searched for answers that remained just beyond your reach. Every anxious thought asked you to trust uncertainty more than you trusted me. Yet I have always been inviting you toward a different way of living. Peace begins when you remember who is holding your life. If everything depended upon your wisdom, your strength, or your ability to solve every problem, then anxiety would seem reasonable. But your life has never rested upon your shoulders alone. It has always rested safely within my hands. I know every detail you cannot see. I understand every challenge before it reaches you. I have already prepared grace for tomorrow while you are still living today. Why should your heart carry what my hands are already holding? There is a quiet place within your soul where I desire to meet you each day. It is not a place defined by silence around you, but by stillness within you. Even when the world becomes loud with demands, opinions, and distractions, you can return to that place by remembering my presence. Speak with me. Listen for my voice. Breathe deeply in the assurance that I am near. You do not have to earn my peace. You simply need to receive what I freely offer. My beloved child, peace does not mean you will never experience sorrow. It does not mean every question will immediately be answered or every difficulty will disappear overnight. Peace means that even while facing uncertainty, you know you are not facing it alone. It means that when tears come, hope remains. When challenges appear, courage rises. When the future feels unclear, trust becomes stronger than fear. This is the peace I desire to plant deeply within your heart. Do not allow the noise of the world to become louder than my gentle voice. Every day, countless messages compete for your attention. Some tell you to worry more. Others tell you that your value depends upon your achievements or the approval of others. Some encourage you to live in constant hurry, always chasing what seems just beyond your reach. But my invitation is different. I call you to slow your heart long enough to remember that you are already deeply loved. You are already fully known. You are already held securely by the one who will never leave you. When discouragement tries to enter your thoughts, bring it to me. When disappointment weighs heavily upon your spirit, place it into my hands. When confusion clouds your mind, remain close to my voice instead of rushing toward panic. You do not have to carry every emotion by yourself. I am your refuge, your comfort, and your unchanging source of strength. The more you learn to rest in my presence, the more your heart will discover a calm that circumstances cannot take away. My beloved child, let today become the beginning of a new way of living. Instead of waking each morning expecting reasons to worry, wake expecting my faithfulness. Instead of ending each day counting your fears, end it remembering my countless acts of love. Let gratitude replace anxiety, trust replace striving, and hope replace discouragement. The peace I give is not temporary or fragile. It is steady because it comes from my eternal heart. So rest, my beloved child. Rest from trying to carry every burden alone. Rest from believing that everything depends upon your strength. Rest from allowing fear to dictate the rhythm of your life. Lean into my presence and allow my peace to settle over your heart like the gentle morning light that quietly drives away the darkness. I created your heart for this peace, and as you continue walking with me, you will discover that no storm is powerful enough to overcome the calm that my love has placed within your soul. My beloved child, there are some things you must release before you can fully receive what I have prepared for you. I know letting go is not easy. I know there are memories you have held close because they became familiar, even though they continue to bring you pain. There are disappointments you revisit, words spoken against you that still echo in your mind, and burdens you have carried for so long that they almost feel like part of your identity. But I did not create you to be defined by what wounded you. I created you to be transformed by my love. The time has come to loosen your grip on what has been draining your soul. Not everything that has remained in your life belongs in your future. Some seasons have fulfilled their purpose. Some relationships have taught the lessons they were meant to teach. Some habits of thinking once helped you survive difficult days, but they are no longer helping you live the abundant life I desire for you. Holding on to everything simply because it is familiar will prevent you from embracing the new work I am doing within you. Imagine a traveler crossing a long bridge while carrying a heavy bag filled with stones. At the beginning of the journey, the weight seems manageable. But with every step, the burden grows more exhausting. The traveler begins to slow down, not because the destination has become farther away, but because the unnecessary weight is making every step harder than it needs to be. Then someone gently opens the bag and reveals that many of the stones inside no longer serve any purpose. They were collected along the road out of fear, regret, guilt, resentment, and disappointment. The traveler had forgotten that the bag could be empty. My beloved child, your heart has sometimes become like the traveler's bag. You have carried regrets from years ago, believing they should remain with you forever. You have carried unforgiveness toward those who wounded you, hoping that holding on would somehow protect you from being hurt again. You have carried disappointment because life unfolded differently than you expected. You have even carried false expectations about yourself, believing you must always be perfect, always be strong, and never struggle. Those burdens were never meant to stay with you. There are voices from your past that still try to influence your present. They remind you of failures that I have already forgiven. They repeat criticism that I never spoke. They convince you that because something happened once, it will happen again. But my beloved child, you do not have to keep giving those voices a place within your heart. My truth is greater than every lie that has tried to shape your identity. When I speak over you, I do not remind you of who you were. I remind you of who you are becoming through my grace. Sometimes the greatest obstacle to receiving my peace is not what is happening around you, but what you continue to carry within you. Worry about tomorrow steals joy from today. Bitterness toward yesterday steals hope from tomorrow. Constant comparison steals gratitude from the present moment. Every one of these burdens quietly drains your soul. They consume energy that I desire you to invest in love, faith, compassion, and purpose. I am not asking you to pretend that painful things never happened. I know your story completely. I know the tears, the betrayal, the unfairness, the losses, and the disappointments. I have never ignored your pain. But I also know that healing begins when you allow me to carry what you were never meant to bear alone. Forgiveness does not say that the wound was acceptable. Forgiveness says that you trust me to bring justice while freeing your heart from the prison of bitterness. Releasing regret does not erase the lessons you learned. It simply removes the chains that keep you trapped in yesterday. Look at the trees when the seasons change. They do not cling desperately to every leaf. When the time comes, they let go. From a distance, it may seem like loss, but the tree understands something important. Releasing old leaves makes room for new growth. If the tree refused to let go, it would hinder the new season that is already waiting. My beloved child, I have designed life with this same wisdom. There are things you must release so that new joy, new peace, new relationships, new opportunities, and new strength can grow within you. Do not be afraid of empty hands. Empty hands are often the beginning of receiving something greater. When you surrender your fears, I fill your heart with courage. When you release your guilt, I remind you of my mercy. When you lay down your anxiety, I cover you with my peace. When you stop clinging to what has already passed, you become free to embrace what I am bringing into your life. Nothing you place into my hands is ever lost. I transform surrendered burdens into testimonies of my faithfulness. My beloved child, today I invite you to open your heart before me without hiding anything. Bring me every burden you have quietly carried. Bring me every painful memory that still steals your peace. Bring me every expectation that has left you discouraged. Bring me every fear that whispers you will never change. I am not overwhelmed by any of it. My love is greater than every wound, and my grace is stronger than every chain. Walk forward lighter than you have walked in a long time. Let my presence become the place where your soul finds rest. Leave behind everything that no longer belongs in the future I have prepared for you. The road ahead is too beautiful to be traveled while carrying the unnecessary weight of the past. I am leading you into a new season, and every step will become easier as you trust me enough to let go of what has been draining your soul. My beloved child, I am writing a new chapter in your life, and it will not be limited by the pain of the chapters that came before it. Too often, you have looked at your future through the lens of your past experiences. You have expected yesterday's disappointments to become tomorrow's reality. You have wondered if the pages ahead would simply repeat the same struggles, the same heartbreaks, and the same unanswered questions. But I want you to know that I am the author of your story, and I do not repeat chapters without purpose. Every season has its place, and every page I write moves you closer to the life I have prepared for you. When a book reaches the end of one chapter, the story does not stop. The page turns, and something new begins. The characters continue to grow. New opportunities appear. Hidden truths are revealed. Questions that once seemed impossible to answer begin to make sense. In the same way, your life has reached moments when you believed everything was ending, while I knew a new beginning was already waiting just beyond the page. What you called an ending, I often called a transition. There were seasons when you felt trapped by circumstances that refused to change. You prayed for relief, yet the road remained difficult. You hoped for answers, yet silence seemed to surround you. During those moments, you may have believed that your story had become stuck. But my beloved child, even when you could not see visible change, I was still writing. Every quiet moment carrying purpose. Every delay was adding depth to your character. Every challenge was shaping your heart for the blessings that were still to come. Do not be discouraged by chapters that contain sorrow. They were never meant to define the entire story. A skilled writer knows that difficult moments often prepare the reader to appreciate the beauty that follows. Without the night, the sunrise would not be celebrated in the same way. Without the storm, the calm would not feel as precious. In the same way, the tears you have shed have deepened your capacity for joy. The loneliness you have endured has increased your ability to cherish true companionship. The hardships you have overcome have strengthened your faith in ways comfort alone never could. Imagine an old field that has just passed through a long and difficult winter. To someone passing by, it may appear empty and lifeless. The trees stand without leaves, the ground seems cold, and nothing appears to be growing. Yet beneath the surface, life is quietly preparing for spring. Seeds remain alive. Roots continue to grow. The season has not ended in death but in preparation. Then, when the appointed time arrives, new life begins to appear everywhere. Flowers bloom. Trees become full again. What once seemed barren becomes a place of beauty. My beloved child, perhaps your heart has felt like that winter field. You looked around and saw only what was missing. You wondered whether joy would ever return. But beneath the surface, I have been preparing a spring that you cannot yet fully imagine. Hope has been growing quietly. Healing has been taking root. New opportunities have been moving closer with every passing day. The season you are entering is not defined by what you lost, but by what I am about to restore. Do not allow fear to convince you that you are unworthy of a fresh beginning. Too many times, you have believed that your mistakes disqualified you from receiving my best. You have looked at your imperfections and wondered whether they permanently changed your future. Hear my heart clearly, my beloved child. My mercy is greater than your failures. My grace is stronger than your regret. I have never measured your future by your worst moments. I have always measured it by my unwavering love and my unchanging purpose for your life. There are dreams within your heart that you quietly set aside because disappointment made them seem impossible. Some of those dreams were planted by me, and I have not forgotten them. Others may need to be reshaped so they align more closely with the beautiful future I have prepared. Either way, do not stop believing that I am still able to do something new. I delight in bringing hope where people expect despair. I delight in opening doors where others only see walls. I delight in surprising my children with blessings that arrive in ways they never expected. As this new chapter unfolds, I want you to enter it with open hands instead of clenched fists. Leave behind the need to control every outcome. Release the habit of expecting disappointment before hope has a chance to grow. Walk into this season believing that my goodness is still active in your life. Let gratitude become your companion instead of fear. Let expectation replace discouragement. Let trust become stronger than uncertainty. You do not have to know every detail of the pages ahead because you already know the one who is writing them. My plans for you have never been random. Every sentence is filled with purpose. Every chapter carries my love. Even the unexpected moments will become part of a greater story that reveals my faithfulness in ways you cannot yet imagine. So lift your eyes, my beloved child. Do not remain standing at the doorway of old memories when I am inviting you into something new. The chapter behind you has taught you valuable lessons, but it is no longer where you belong. Turn the page with confidence. Walk forward with hope. Trust that my hand is guiding every step, my wisdom is directing every decision, and my love is surrounding every moment. The story I am writing is not finished, and the pages ahead hold more healing, more peace, more purpose, and more joy than your heart has yet dared to believe. My beloved child, never underestimate the power of the small acts of faith that you offer to me each day. You live in a world that often celebrates what is loud, impressive, and immediate. It tells you that only great achievements matter and that only extraordinary moments are worthy of attention. But my kingdom has always grown differently. I delight in the quiet choices that no one applauds, the faithful steps that few people notice, and the simple acts of obedience that are offered with a sincere heart. What seems small to human eyes is often precious in mine. You may wonder whether your daily prayers make any difference. You may question whether your quiet acts of kindness matter when they seem to go unnoticed. You may think that your efforts to remain faithful in ordinary moments are too insignificant to change anything. But I see every one of them. I see the prayer you whispered before beginning your day. I see the patience you chose when frustration tempted you. I see the encouraging words you spoke to someone who was discouraged. I see the forgiveness you offered even though your heart was still healing. Nothing done in love is ever wasted in my sight. Think of a tiny seed resting in the palm of a gardener's hand. It appears so small that it could easily be overlooked. Yet hidden within that seed is the potential for a mighty tree that will one day provide shade, shelter, and fruit for many. No one stands beside the seed demanding that it become a tree overnight. The gardener understands that growth happens one day at a time. The seed is planted, watered, and patiently cared for until its hidden life begins to emerge. My beloved child, many of the things I ask you to do resemble that small seed. A single prayer may seem ordinary, yet it begins to shape your heart. One decision to trust me instead of fear strengthens your faith more than you realize. One act of generosity can become the answer to another person's desperate prayer. One word of encouragement may lift someone who was ready to give up. You cannot always see the harvest because it often begins beneath the surface, where only I can see it. But I assure you that every faithful act carries eternal significance. Do not allow impatience to steal your joy. Sometimes you become discouraged because you expect immediate results from every effort. You plant seeds today and hope to harvest them tomorrow. But the rhythms I established in creation remind you that lasting growth requires time. Farmers do not dig up their fields every morning to see whether the seeds have begun to grow. They trust the process. They continue watering, tending, and waiting because they know that life is quietly developing beneath the soil. In the same way, continue to remain faithful even when you cannot yet see visible results. I am working in ways that are hidden from your eyes. There have been seasons when you questioned whether your faith was strong enough. You compared yourself to others whose confidence seemed greater or whose lives appeared more successful. But remember this, my beloved child, I have never asked you to possess perfect faith. I have simply asked you to bring me the faith you have. Even the smallest trust, when placed in my hands, becomes the beginning of something extraordinary. It is not the size of your faith that changes your life. It is the greatness of the one in whom you place your faith. I have been pleased by your quiet perseverance far more than you realize. There were mornings when you chose to rise after a difficult night. There were days when you continued loving others despite carrying your own burdens. There were moments when you kept believing my promises even though your circumstances offered little encouragement. Those choices may have seemed ordinary to you, but they were beautiful acts of faith in my eyes. Heaven rejoices over hearts that remain faithful in both the small moments and the great ones. Never believe that you must accomplish something extraordinary before your life has value. The greatest transformations often begin with simple obedience. A kind word can restore hope. A gentle heart can soften anger. A faithful prayer can open doors that human effort alone could never open. A humble spirit can become a light in places filled with darkness. I often use what appears weak to reveal my strength and what appears ordinary to accomplish extraordinary purposes. My beloved child, I am also using the small moments in your own life to prepare you for greater responsibilities. Every challenge you face with integrity strengthens your character. Every opportunity to choose patience instead of frustration deepens your wisdom. Every act of forgiveness expands your capacity to love. You may believe you are simply living another ordinary day, but I see you becoming more like the person I created you to be. So do not despise the little beginnings. Do not become weary because the progress seems slow. Every faithful choice is another brick laid in the beautiful future I am building. Every prayer is another conversation that draws your heart closer to mine. Every act of kindness becomes another reflection of my love in the world. Continue planting seeds of faith even when the field appears quiet. Continue trusting me even when you cannot yet see the harvest. In the proper season, the seeds you have planted with tears, hope, patience, and love will rise into blessings that will surprise even you. Walk forward today with quiet confidence, my beloved child. You do not need to chase greatness because greatness grows naturally wherever faithfulness takes root. Stay close to me. Remain steady in the small things. Continue taking one obedient step after another. I am watching over every seed you plant, nurturing every act of faith, and preparing a harvest that will reveal that nothing you entrusted to me was ever forgotten. My beloved child, I know the desires hidden inside your heart. There are dreams you have spoken aloud, and there are dreams you have never shared with another person. There are prayers you whispered years ago that you barely remember today, yet I remember every one of them. There are hopes you tucked away because disappointment convinced you they would never come to pass. There are longings so deep that words have never been able to fully express them. But nothing within your heart is hidden from me. I have known every desire since before you first discovered it yourself. You sometimes wonder if your dreams matter to me. You ask yourself whether I truly care about the things that bring joy to your heart or the burdens that keep you awake at night. My beloved child, I am not distant from your emotions. I do not simply observe your life from afar. I walk with you through every moment. When your heart rejoices, I rejoice with you. When your heart is heavy, I draw even closer. The one who formed your heart understands every longing that lives within it. There have been times when your desires became mixed with fear. You wanted something deeply, yet you were afraid to pray for it because you feared another disappointment. So instead of bringing your hopes to me, you quietly carried them alone. You convinced yourself that expecting less would hurt less. But hope was never meant to be buried beneath fear. I did not create your heart to stop dreaming because life became difficult. I created it to trust that I am able to guide every desire according to my perfect wisdom and love. Imagine a loving father walking through a garden with his child. The child points toward beautiful flowers, tall trees, and flowing streams with excitement and wonder. The father delights in seeing the child's joy. He gently explains which fruit is ready to be picked and which must remain on the branch a little longer. He is not withholding good things to disappoint the child. He is teaching patience so that every gift can be enjoyed at the proper time. In the same way, I delight in the dreams I have planted within you. When I ask you to wait, it is never because I take pleasure in delay. It is because I know the perfect season for every blessing. Some of your desires have already been shaped by my hand. Your longing to love and be loved. Your desire to live with purpose. Your hope to bring peace to your family. Your wish to make a difference in the lives of others. These are beautiful desires that reflect my own heart. As you continue walking with me, I gently refine every dream, removing fear, pride, and impatience so that what remains is filled with wisdom, compassion, and lasting joy. There are also moments when I lovingly reshape your dreams because I see a future beyond what you can imagine. Sometimes you ask for one path while I prepare another that will bring greater fulfillment. At first, this may feel confusing. You may wonder why certain plans did not succeed. But one day you will look back and understand that I was not taking something beautiful away from you. I was leading you toward something even better. My plans have always been larger than your present understanding, and my love has always been deeper than your temporary disappointment. My beloved child, never mistake silence for forgetfulness. Just because you have waited does not mean I have forgotten what matters to you. I know the tears you have shed over unanswered prayers. I know the quiet moments when you question whether your dreams still had life within them. I know the ache of waiting for healing, for restoration, for meaningful relationships, for direction, or for doors to open. Every one of those longings has been safely held in my hands. Nothing entrusted to me is ever lost. As your heart grows closer to mine, something beautiful begins to happen. Your desires and my purpose begin to move together in harmony. The things that once seemed most important gradually make room for what truly lasts. You discover joy not only in receiving blessings but also in becoming a blessing. You find peace not only in reaching destinations but also in walking faithfully through the journey. This transformation is not a loss. It is a give. It is my love shaping your heart to experience a deeper and more lasting fulfillment than you could ever create on your own. Do not be afraid to speak honestly with me. Tell me your hopes. Tell me your fears. Tell me the dreams you are almost embarrassed to mention because they seem impossible. I already know them, but I delight when you bring them into our conversation. A loving relationship grows through openness, trust, and time spent together. You never need to hide your heart from the one who created it. My beloved child, hold your dreams with open hands. Do not cling to them so tightly that fear takes control, and do not abandon them so quickly that hope disappears. Place them gently into my care. Trust that I know which dreams to fulfill exactly as you imagined, which dreams to reshape into something even more beautiful, and which dreams to replace with blessings you have not yet considered. I see the complete picture while you see only one part of the journey. So continue walking with confidence. Let your heart remain soft, hopeful, and willing to follow wherever I lead. The deepest desires I have placed within you were never meant to end in despair. In my perfect time, they will become part of a story that reveals my faithfulness, my wisdom, and my unfailing love. And when that day comes, you will understand that every season of waiting, every quiet prayer, and every hidden longing was lovingly held by the Father who has always known your heart completely. My beloved child, you are stronger than you realize. There have been many moments when you looked at yourself and saw only weakness. You measured your strength by how tired you felt, by how many times you cried, or by how often you questioned your own ability to keep going. But I have been watching your journey from a different perspective. I have seen every time you chose to rise after disappointment. I have seen every quiet act of courage that no one else noticed. I have seen you continue walking when every part of you wanted to stop. That is strength, my beloved child, even if you have never called it by that name. The world often teaches that strength means never feeling afraid, never becoming discouraged, and never needing help. But that has never been my definition. True strength is not pretending that you have no struggles. True strength is continuing to trust me in the middle of those struggles. It is bringing your weary heart into my presence instead of allowing despair to take root. It is choosing hope when fear offers an easier path. It is believing that I am still with you, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. Think of gold as it is refined by fire. Before it shines with beauty, it must pass through intense heat. The fire does not destroy the gold. Instead, it removes the impurities that hide its true brilliance. The process is not easy, but it is purposeful. In the same way, many of the challenges you have faced were not sent to destroy you. They became opportunities for your character to grow stronger, your faith to become deeper, and your compassion to become richer. What felt like a season of breaking was often a season of refining. There were days when you believed you had reached your limit. You wondered if you could endure one more disappointment, one more unanswered prayer, or one more difficult conversation. Yet somehow, you continued. You found the strength to take another step, to speak another prayer, to offer another act of kindness, and to believe one more time. Do you know why? Because even when you felt empty, my strength was quietly supporting you. I was carrying what you could no longer carry on your own. The strength that brought you this far has never belonged to you alone. It has always flowed from my faithful presence. My beloved child, do not overlook the victories that happened inside your heart. You often celebrate only the visible accomplishments while forgetting the hidden growth that has taken place. You became more patient than you once were. You learned to forgive when bitterness once seemed impossible to release. You became more compassionate toward people because you understood what it meant to suffer. You learned to depend on me in ways you never would have learned during easier seasons. These are victories that no storm can erase. Sometimes you compare yourself with the person you wish you already were instead of recognizing how far you have come. You forget the nights when you thought you would never smile again. You forget the seasons when fear controlled your every decision. You forget how deeply wounded your heart once felt. Yet look at you now. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still reaching toward hope. You are not the same person who began this journey. My grace has been quietly transforming you every step of the way. There will still be moments when you feel weak. Do not become discouraged when those moments come. Weakness does not disqualify you from my purpose. In fact, it often becomes the place where my power shines most clearly. When you acknowledge that you need me, you create room for my strength to work through your life. Pride says, I can do this alone. Faith says, with my Father beside me, I will continue. Choose faith, my beloved child. It will carry you farther than self-reliance ever could. Remember the mighty oak tree that stands firmly through storms. It did not become strong in a single day. It endured seasons of wind, rain, heat, and cold. Every challenge caused its roots to grow deeper. The storms that appeared to threaten it actually strengthened it. Your life has followed a similar path. Every hardship has driven your roots deeper into my love. Every trial has taught you to rely on my promises instead of temporary circumstances. You may have wished for an easier road, but the road you walked has shaped a stronger heart. Do not let temporary setbacks convince you that you are failing. Growth is rarely a straight line. There will be days when progress feels obvious and days when it feels invisible. Continue trusting the process I have begun within you. Just because you cannot see every change does not mean transformation has stopped. I am faithfully completing the work I started in your heart, one day at a time. My beloved child, I smile when I see the courage you do not even recognize in yourself. I rejoice every time you choose love instead of anger, faith instead of fear, patience instead of frustration, and hope instead of despair. These choices reveal the beautiful strength I have been building within you. You are becoming the person I always knew you could be. So lift your head and walk forward with renewed confidence. Stop calling yourself weak simply because the journey hath been difficult. Instead, remember that every challenge you have faced has become another testimony of my sustaining grace. The strength you need for tomorrow will be waiting when tomorrow arrives, just as today's strength was waiting for you this morning. You are stronger than you realize because my spirit continues to work within you. My love continues to surround you, and my faithful hand will never let you go. Continue walking, my beloved child, for the greatest evidence of your strength is not that you have never fallen, but that through my grace, you have always risen again. My beloved child, I am bringing beauty from the places in your life that once seemed beyond repair. I know there have been moments when you looked at the broken pieces of your story and wondered how anything good could ever come from them. You have seen shattered dreams, painful endings, unanswered questions, and scars that still remind you of what you have endured. At times, you believed those broken places would forever define your life. But I have never looked at your brokenness the way you have. Where you saw an ending, I saw the beginning of restoration. Where you saw ashes, I saw the soil from which new life would grow. There are wounds you carry that were not your choice. There were words spoken over you that should never have been spoken. There were moments when trust was broken, when people walked away, when circumstances changed without warning, and when your heart struggled to understand why. I was with you through every one of those moments. I did not look away from your pain. I did not abandon you when the weight became heavy. I remained close, even when you could not feel my presence. My love never retreated from your broken places. It moved toward them. Think of a skilled craftsman who discovers an old instrument covered with dust, scratches, and cracks. To many people, it appears useless. They see only what hath been damaged. But the craftsman sees something different. With patient hands, he carefully restores it, strengthens what has become weak, and brings back the beautiful sound that had been hidden for years. The instrument does not lose its value because it was broken. Its value becomes even more evident through the loving work of restoration. My beloved child, this is how I see you. I have never measured your worth by the wounds you carry. I have always seen the beautiful life I placed within you. Do not believe the lie that your painful experiences have ruined your future. They have shaped you, but they have not destroyed the purpose I placed inside you. In fact, many of the qualities that now shine most brightly in your life were formed through those difficult seasons. Your compassion grew because you understood suffering. Your patience deepened because you learned how to wait. Your kindness became more genuine because you know what it feels like to need kindness yourself. Even your tears have watered seeds that are now beginning to bloom into wisdom, gentleness, and strength. There may still be days when old memories return unexpectedly. A familiar place, a certain conversation, or a quiet moment may remind you of pain you thought had already passed. Do not become discouraged when this happens. Healing is not the absence of memory. Healing is the transformation of memory. The wound no longer controls your future because my love has entered that place. What once caused only pain will one day remind you of the faithfulness that carried you through it. My beloved child, I never waste anything that is surrendered into my hands. The world often throws away what appears broken, but I restore it. I redeem it. I breathe new life into it. The failures you regret, the opportunities you lost, the seasons you wish had unfolded differently, none of these are beyond my ability to transform. I can weave even the hardest chapters into a testimony that brings hope to others who are walking through similar valleys. Your story does not end with brokenness. It continues with redemption. Sometimes you ask why certain painful things were allowed to happen. While I may not answer every question today, I want you to trust my heart even when you cannot fully understand my ways. There are truths that become clear only after time has passed. One day you will look back and see how I was quietly working through circumstances that seemed impossible. You will recognize moments when my grace carried you even though you felt too weak to continue. You will discover that my goodness never abandoned you, even in the darkest chapters of your life. Do not hide your scars from me. Bring them into my presence without fear. I already know where they are. I know how deeply they affected you. I know the places where your heart still hesitates to trust again. I do not ask you to pretend those wounds never existed. I ask you to allow my love to continue touching them until fear is replaced with peace, bitterness is replaced with forgiveness, and sorrow is replaced with hope. There is also something beautiful that happens when you allow me to heal you. Your restored heart becomes a refuge for others. The comfort you receive from me begins to flow through your life into the lives of those who are hurting. The compassion you develop through your own struggles becomes a light for someone walking through darkness. Your testimony becomes proof that no life is too broken for my restoring power. What once seemed like your greatest weakness becomes one of the greatest ways my love is revealed through you. My beloved child, lift your eyes beyond the broken pieces lying at your feet. Do not spend the rest of your journey mourning what has already been redeemed. Instead, watch what my hands are creating from those very fragments. I am making something beautiful that could never have existed without my restoring grace. Every scar will become a reminder of my faithfulness. Every tear will become part of a greater story of hope. Every broken place will declare that my love is stronger than loss, stronger than failure, and stronger than every sorrow you have ever known. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that I am still restoring what seems incomplete. I have not finished my work within you. The beauty I am creating is still unfolding, and one day you will see that nothing placed into my hands was ever beyond redemption. Your life is becoming a living testimony that I am the God who brings beauty from brokenness, hope from despair, and new life from every place that once seemed beyond healing. My beloved child, do not lose heart now. You have come farther than you realize, and this is not the moment to surrender to discouragement. I know there are days when the journey feels longer than you expected. There are mornings when your heart grows weary because the answers you hoped for have not yet appeared. There are evenings when you quietly wonder if all your prayers, your patience, and your faith have truly mattered. But I am speaking to you with tenderness and certainty. Do not stop now. The road may still have challenges, but you are much closer to the breakthrough than your eyes can presently see. There is something about the final stretch of a difficult journey that often feels heavier than everything that came before it. The traveler grows tired. The climb becomes steep. The temptation to rest forever instead of pressing forward begins to whisper into the heart. Yet it is often during those very moments that the destination is nearest. If the traveler turns back, they never discover how close they truly were. My beloved child, I do not want you to abandon hope because you cannot yet see what is waiting just beyond the next hill. Think of the farmer who has faithfully tended the field through every season. He has prepared the soil, planted the seed, watered it with care, and waded through days of sunshine and storms alike. There are moments when the field appears unchanged, and it would be easy for him to believe that all his labor has been in vain. But beneath the surface, life has been growing all along. If he gives up just before the harvest, he walks away from the very blessing he has patiently nurtured. In the same way, your faith has not been wasted. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every moment of trust has been planting seeds that are moving steadily toward their appointed season. I know the weariness you sometimes carry. You have fought battles that few people know about. You have smiled while your heart was aching. You have continued to encourage others even when you secretly long for encouragement yourself. You have remained faithful during seasons when no one seemed to notice your quiet perseverance. But I noticed it. Every sacrifice made in love had been seen. Every tear shed in faith has been treasured. Every step you took when your strength felt small has been remembered by me. Do not mistake weariness for failure. Feeling tired does not mean you are losing the battle. It simply means you have been carrying responsibilities, hopes, and prayers for a long time. Even the strongest traveler needs moments of rest. That is why I continue inviting you into my presence. When you come to me, I renew what has become weary. I strengthen what has grown weak. I breathe fresh hope into places where discouragement has tried to settle. You do not have to create new strength by yourself. Receive it from me, for I never grow weary, and my love never reaches its limit. There will always be voices that try to persuade you to quit. Some will come from the world around you. Others will rise from your own fears. They will tell you that nothing is changing, that your efforts have accomplished little, or that your dreams are too distant to ever become reality. But those voices cannot see what I see. They judge only by appearances. I see the hidden roots of faith that have grown deep within your heart. I see doors beginning to move before they open. I see answers already traveling toward prayers you thought had been forgotten. I see a future that is filled with my goodness, even while you are still walking through today's uncertainties. Remember how many times you believed you could not continue, yet here you are. There were seasons you thought would break you, but they became seasons that strengthened you instead. There were valleys you feared would never end, but I faithfully led you through them. The same hand that guided you then is guiding you now. I have not changed. My promises have not weakened. My love has not faded. If I was faithful yesterday, I will be faithful tomorrow. Let your past experiences of my goodness become the foundation for your confidence today. My beloved child, perseverance is not simply continuing because everything feels easy. Perseverance is choosing to keep walking because you trust the one who walks beside you. It is believing my promises even before they become visible. It is lifting your eyes above temporary circumstances and remembering that I am working on a much greater story than the one you can presently understand. When discouragement knocks at the door of your heart, answer it with remembrance. Remember the times I provided when you thought there would not be enough. Remember the moments I comforted you when grief felt unbearable. Remember the doors I opened after seasons of waiting. Remember the peace I placed within you when fear surrounded you. Every memory of my faithfulness becomes another reason to keep trusting me. So I say to you again, my beloved child, do not lose heart now. Keep praying, even when the answers seem delayed. Keep loving, even when others fail to understand you. Keep believing, even when your circumstances have not yet changed. Keep taking one faithful step after another. The work I have begun in your life is still unfolding, and I will not abandon it halfway. Your story is moving toward hope, not despair. Your journey is leading toward restoration, not defeat. Stay close to me, hold tightly to my hand, and continue walking forward. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is closer than you think, and when the appointed moment arrives, you will look back with gratitude and realize that every step of perseverance prepared you to receive the beautiful future I had been lovingly preparing all along. My beloved child, my timing has never been late, even when it has felt slow to you. I know there have been seasons when you looked at the calendar and wondered why the answers had not yet arrived. You counted the days, the months, and even the years, believing that perhaps the opportunity had passed or the promise had been forgotten. But I do not measure time the way you do. While you often see only the present moment, I see the beginning, the middle, and the end of every story at once. I know exactly when each door should open, when each lesson should be learned, and when each blessing will bring the greatest good into your life. There have been moments when you believed that if only one thing had happened sooner, everything would have been better. You wished certain prayers had been answered immediately. You wished healing had come without delay. You wished relationships had been restored before the distance grew so great. Yet, my beloved child, there are countless details beyond your sight that I have always been carefully arranging. What appeared to be delay was often the loving protection of a father who refused to give his child something before the right season had arrived. Look at the changing seasons that I placed upon the earth. Spring does not arrive because winter grows impatient. Summer does not begin because the flowers demand it. Every season comes at the appointed time, and because of that order, creation flourishes. If spring arrived in the middle of winter, many blossoms would not survive. If harvest came before the crops matured, the fields would produce little fruit. Timing is not an obstacle to life. Timing is one of the greatest gifts I have woven into creation. The same wisdom that guides the seasons also guides your life. Sometimes you have mistaken waiting for abandonment. You assumed that because the answer had not yet appeared, I must have become silent or distant. Yet during those very moments, I was working with loving precision. I was preparing hearts before they crossed your path. I was opening opportunities that required certain circumstances to come together. I was strengthening your character so that the blessings ahead would not overwhelm you but instead become a source of lasting joy. Every day of waiting had purpose, even when you could not yet understand it. My beloved child, I know how difficult it can be to trust what you cannot see. Your heart naturally longs for reassurance. You want to know that the path you are walking is leading somewhere beautiful. That is why I continually remind you of my faithfulness. Look back over your life for a moment. Can you not remember times when you once believed all hope was lost, only to discover later that I had been preparing something far better than you imagined? Those memories are not accidents. They are reminders that my timing has always been trustworthy. Imagine a skilled potter shaping clay upon a wheel. The clay cannot fully understand why it is being pressed, turned, and carefully formed. From its perspective, the process may seem uncomfortable or unnecessarily long, but the potter sees the finished vessel before it exists. Every touch has purpose. Every moment of waiting contributes to the beauty that will eventually be revealed. My beloved child, I am the potter, and you are lovingly being shaped by my hands. I never hurry the process, because I desire to create something lasting within you. There are blessings that would have become burdens if they had arrived before your heart was prepared. There are responsibilities that would have exhausted you if they had been given too soon. There are relationships that needed healing before they could become healthy. There are dreams that required deeper wisdom before they could safely become reality. I have never delayed your future without reason. Every pause has carried my love. Every season has been guided by my wisdom. Do not let the world's pace become the measure of your own journey. Others may seem to move ahead more quickly. Their accomplishments may appear sooner. Their answers may arrive before yours. But comparison will only steal the peace I have given you. I am not writing identical stories for all my children. Each life unfolds according to the unique purpose I have lovingly prepared. Trust the story I am writing through you, even when it differs from the stories unfolding around you. There is freedom in surrendering your timeline to me. Instead of constantly asking, "Why not now?" begin asking, "What are you preparing in me today?" That simple change of heart opens the door to gratitude even in seasons of waiting. You begin to notice my daily mercies instead of focusing only on what has not yet happened. You begin to see my hand in ordinary moments. You discover that my presence is not found only at the destination, but throughout every step of the journey. My beloved child, I want you to release the fear that you have fallen behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not watching your purpose disappear because time has passed. The plans I have for you are not fragile. They are held securely in my faithful hands. No delay, no disappointment, and no unexpected turn can cancel what I have lovingly prepared. What belongs to you in my will cannot be stolen by the passing of time. So continue walking with confidence. Trust the rhythm I have established for your life. Celebrate each small step, knowing it is leading you towards something greater. Rest in the assurance that I have never missed a single moment of your journey. My timing is perfect because my love is perfect. When the season I have prepared finally arrives, you will not look back with regret over the waiting. Instead, you will stand in awe of the wisdom that guided every delay, every lesson, every closed door, and every unexpected turn. Then you will understand that my timing was never late. It was always exactly right, because it was guided by the heart of a father who has loved you completely from the very beginning and always will. My beloved child, I am surrounding you with new strength. You have walked through seasons that demanded more from you than you ever imagined you could give. There were days when you felt as though every ounce of your energy had been poured out. You carried responsibilities that seemed endless. You faced disappointments that tested your endurance. You comforted others while quietly searching for comfort yourself. Yet even in those moments when you believed you had nothing left to offer, I remained your source. I never asked you to rely only on your own strength because I always intended for you to draw from mine. There is a difference between merely surviving and truly living. For a long time, you have done what you needed to do. You kept moving because you felt you had no other choice. You fulfilled your responsibilities, met your obligations, and continued taking one step after another. But somewhere along the way, your soul grew weary. You became so focused on making it through each day that you forgot what it felt like to experience joy without striving, peace without fear, and hope without hesitation. My beloved child, I desire more for you than simple survival. I desire a life strengthened by my presence, where your heart is renewed from within. Imagine a river flowing steadily through a dry land. The river does not struggle to create water because its source is continually supplying it. As long as it remains connected to its source, it keeps flowing, bringing life wherever it goes. But if the river were somehow separated from that source, it would eventually dry up. In the same way, your strength is not meant to come only from determination, discipline, or human effort. Your deepest strength flows from remaining connected to me. When you stay close to my heart, I continually pour fresh grace into yours. There have been mornings when you woke feeling emotionally exhausted before the day had even begun. You wondered how you would find the strength to face another challenge, another conversation, or another responsibility. Yet somehow you made it through. You may have thought it was simply because you forced yourself to keep going. But I know the truth. I quietly upheld you. I placed courage where fear tried to grow. I placed calm where anxiety attempted to overwhelm you. I gave you exactly what you needed for that day, even if you did not recognize it at the time. My beloved child, stop believing that asking for help is a sign of weakness. There is humility in admitting that you cannot carry every burden alone. Even the strongest tree depends upon rain from heaven. Even the richest soil depends upon sunlight it cannot create for itself. Everything I have made depends upon something beyond itself. Why should you believe that you alone must be completely self-sufficient? I have always invited you to lean upon me because I delight in being your strength. There are places within your heart where weariness has quietly settled. Perhaps disappointment has made it difficult to hope again. Perhaps repeated setbacks have made you cautious about dreaming. Perhaps constant responsibility has left little room for rest. I know every one of those places. I am not asking you to ignore them. I am inviting you to bring them into my presence. I never shame you for being tired. Instead, I lovingly remind you that you do not have to remain exhausted forever. Think of an eagle soaring high above the earth. It does not remain aloft by constantly struggling against every current of air. Instead, it learns to rise upon the winds that surround it. But appears to others as effortless flight is actually the result of trusting the currents that carry it higher. My beloved child, I am teaching you something similar. Stop trying to force your way through every challenge by your own effort alone. Learn to rest in my strength. Allow my wisdom to guide your decisions. Let my peace calm your heart. As you trust me more deeply, you will discover that I can carry you through situations that once seemed impossible. There will still be responsibilities waiting for you tomorrow. There will still be people who need your love, your kindness, and your compassion. But you cannot continue pouring into others if your own soul remains empty. That is why I call you back to me again and again. Spend time in my presence not because I demand it, but because I know it is where your heart finds life. Speak with me honestly. Sit quietly before me. Allow my love to wash away the dust of discouragement that life sometimes leaves behind. Every moment you spend with me becomes a place where new strength quietly grows. Do not measure your future by how tired you feel today. Weariness is a temporary condition. My strength is eternal. What feels impossible at this moment will not always feel this way. As I renew your heart, you will begin to notice hope returning. You will find joy in simple moments again. Your laughter will become genuine. Your prayers will become confident. Your faith will become steady, not because life has become easy, but because you have learned where true strength is found. My beloved child, I am breathing fresh life into every place where discouragement has tried to settle. I am replacing heaviness with hope, confusion with clarity, and fear with quiet confidence. You do not have to create this transformation by your own effort. Simply remain close to me. Let my love become your resting place and my presence become your daily source of renewal. Walk forward today with confidence, not because you know every answer, but because you know the one who strengthens you. The road ahead may still require courage, but you will not walk it empty-handed. I am filling your heart with new strength for every new day. I am surrounding you with my peace, sustaining you with my grace, and reminding you with every step that the one who called you will also faithfully carry you all the way to the beautiful future he has prepared for his beloved child. My beloved child, you are never fighting alone. There have been many moments when it seemed as though the weight of every battle rested upon your shoulders. You looked around and felt misunderstood. You searched for someone who could fully understand what was happening inside your heart. Yet the words never seemed enough to explain your deepest struggles. In those quiet moments, loneliness whispered that you had been left to face life's challenges by yourself. But that whisper has never spoken the truth. From the very beginning of your journey until this very moment, I have remained with you. I have never stepped away from your side, not even for a single heartbeat. There were battles that no one else knew you were fighting. You smiled while carrying grief. You encouraged others while quietly searching for encouragement yourself. You continued fulfilling your responsibilities even when your own heart felt weary. People saw your actions, but they did not always see the courage it took for you to keep going. I saw it all. I noticed every hidden victory. I watched every quiet decision to keep trusting me instead of surrendering to despair. Nothing about your journey has escaped my loving attention. Imagine a young child learning to cross a rushing stream by stepping carefully across stones. The water moves quickly, and the path seems uncertain. The child feels afraid because each step appears risky. But the father does not stand on the opposite side shouting instructions from a distance. He walks beside the child, holding a steady hand, ready to support every uncertain step. The child may still feel nervous, but confidence grows because the father's presence is greater than the fear of falling. My beloved child, this is how I walk with you. I do not simply point toward the path and expect you to find your way alone. I walk beside you. I steady you when your footing feels uncertain. I strengthen you when your courage begins to fade. Sometimes your greatest battles have not been against circumstances but against the thoughts that quietly filled your mind. Doubt questioned your purpose. Fear challenged your future. Regret reminded you of yesterday. Anxiety tried to steal today's peace. These unseen struggles can become exhausting because they follow you wherever you go. Yet even there, I remain present. My truth is stronger than every lie fear has spoken. My peace is deeper than every anxious thought. My love reaches farther than every shadow that has tried to convince you that you are alone. There were moments when people disappointed you. Some broke promises they made. Others failed to understand your heart. A few walked away when you believed they would remain. Those experiences wounded you deeply, and it became tempting to believe that everyone would eventually leave. But my beloved child, human love, though beautiful, is imperfect. My love is not. I do not grow tired of you. I do not become impatient with your questions. I do not leave because your journey becomes difficult. My faithfulness is not measured by changing emotions or circumstances. It is anchored forever in who I am. Remember how many times you have already made it through situations that once seemed impossible. At the beginning of those seasons, you wondered whether you had enough strength to continue. Yet step by step, you found yourself moving forward. It was not because you suddenly became fearless. It was because I quietly strengthened you in ways you did not fully recognize. I placed hope into your heart when discouragement surrounded you. I opened small doors of encouragement just when you needed them most. I reminded you that my promises remain true even when your emotions struggle to believe them. My beloved child, there are also companions I bring into your life at the right time. Some say for many years. Others remain only for a season. Each one has a purpose within the story I am writing. But even when no human voice seems available to encourage you, my voice never falls silent. I speak through moments of peace, through quiet reminders of my faithfulness, through the beauty of creation, through memories of how I have carried you before, and through the gentle assurance that settles within your heart when you pause long enough to listen. Do not let isolation become the place where fear grows stronger. When your heart feels overwhelmed, come closer to me instead of pulling away. Speak honestly with me. Tell me about your disappointments, your questions, your hopes, and even your frustrations. I am not offended by your honesty. I delight in the openness of my beloved child. Every conversation you have with me strengthens the bond we share and reminds you that you have never walked this journey without my presence. There will still be battles ahead because life in this world will always bring challenges. But do not fear what lies ahead. You will never face tomorrow by yourself. Before you arrive in every new season, I will already be there preparing the way. Before you encounter every unexpected difficulty, I will already have grace waiting for you. Before every tear falls, my comfort will already be near. Nothing surprises me, and nothing has the power to separate you from my loving care. So lift your eyes, my beloved child, and release the burden of believing you must fight every battle alone. Hold tightly to my hand, just as a child trusts the loving hand of a faithful father. When your strength feels small, lean upon mine. When your courage begins to waver, remember my promises. When your heart grows weary, rest in my presence. You are surrounded by my love, upheld by my strength, and guarded by my faithfulness. Wherever the path may lead, I will walk beside you, go before you, and remain behind you as your protection. You are never alone, and you never will be, because my presence will remain with you through every victory, every valley, and every new beginning until the story I have written for your life is beautifully complete. My beloved child, lift your eyes beyond today's circumstances. I know it is easy to become overwhelmed by what is immediately in front of you. When challenges surround you, they can seem larger than hope itself. When answers are delayed, it can feel as though your future has been placed on hold. When the road becomes difficult, your attention naturally settles upon the next obstacle instead of the destination ahead. But I am gently calling you to raise your gaze. There is a greater picture unfolding than the one your present circumstances are able to reveal. You have spent many days asking, why is this happening? That question is understandable, and I have never been offended by your honest heart. But there is another question that can fill your soul with hope. What is my Father preparing through this season? When your perspective begins to change, your heart begins to change as well. You stop seeing only the difficulty, and you begin noticing the quiet ways I am working even in the middle of it. Imagine someone climbing a great mountain. At the beginning of the journey, the traveler sees only the steep path ahead. Every step requires effort. The rocks seem endless, and the climb feels exhausting. There are moments when turning back appears easier than continuing. Yet as the traveler keeps climbing, something beautiful begins to happen. The higher they go, the farther they can see. Valleys that once seemed overwhelming become small in the distance. New horizons appear. The struggle has not been meaningless. It has lifted their vision beyond what they could once imagine. My beloved child, many of the challenges you have faced have been like that mountain path. They have stretched your faith, tested your patience, and required perseverance you did not know you possessed. But they have also been lifting your perspective. You are learning that temporary difficulties do not have the final word. You are discovering that my plans extend far beyond today's circumstances. What seems impossible when viewed from the valley often looks very different from the place where my wisdom leads you. Do not allow your present situation to convince you that it is your permanent destination. Seasons change. Storms pass. Wounds heal. Doors open. Hearts are restored. I designed creation to remind you that nothing remains the same forever. After every night comes the morning. After every winter comes the spring. In the same way, the season you are living now is not the final chapter of your story. There is more ahead than what you can presently see. There have been times when you focused so intently on what was missing that you overlooked what I was already providing. You searched for the next blessing while forgetting the countless mercies surrounding you each day. The breath in your lungs, the strength to rise again, the kindness of a friend, the quiet moments of peace, the lessons that shaped your character, and the grace that carried you through another day. These are all reminders that my love has never stopped flowing toward you. Gratitude opens your eyes to my faithfulness in ways that worry never can. My beloved child, remember that your circumstances do not define my character. There may be days when life feels uncertain, but I remain unchanging. There may be moments when people fail you, but my faithfulness remains complete. There may be seasons when doors close, but my purpose for your life continues moving forward. Do not measure my love by the challenges you face. Measure it by the crossroad after crossroad where I continued leading you, by every prayer I answered in ways you did not expect, and by every time I sustained you when your own strength was no longer enough. The world often encourages you to focus only on what can be seen. It tells you to place your confidence in visible success, immediate results, and temporary security. But I invite you to build your hope upon something greater. Build it upon my promises. Build it upon my presence. Build it upon the truth that I have never abandoned my beloved child. What is seen today may change tomorrow, but my love for you will never fade. There are blessings already growing beyond your current horizon. There are people you have not yet met who will become part of your journey. There are opportunities that are quietly moving toward you. There are prayers already being answered in ways you cannot yet recognize. If you remain focused only on today's difficulties, you may miss the excitement of what I am preparing. Lift your eyes. Hope is closer than you think. When fear urges you to stare only at the mountain before you, remember that I am the one who created the mountains. When uncertainty causes you to focus on the valley, remember that I am already standing on the other side, preparing the path ahead. Nothing you face today is greater than the one who lovingly guides your tomorrow. So I ask you again, my beloved child, lift your eyes. Look beyond your present circumstances and into the future I am preparing with loving hands. Refuse to let temporary struggles become permanent conclusions. Continue walking with confidence, knowing that every step is leading you toward a purpose greater than your present understanding. Keep your heart fixed upon my promises instead of your fears. Keep your thoughts anchored in my faithfulness instead of your uncertainty. As you do, you will begin to see your life through my eyes rather than through the limitations of today's challenges. And when you see through my eyes, you will discover that hope has always been surrounding you, even when you could only see the mountain standing before you. My beloved child, gratitude opens the door to joy in ways you may not yet fully understand. I know that life has given you reasons to grieve, reasons to question, and reasons to grow weary. I have never asked you to ignore those realities or pretend they do not exist. But I am inviting you to discover a deeper truth. Even in the middle of life's uncertainties, there are countless reminders of my faithfulness surrounding you. When your heart begins to notice them, joy quietly finds its way back into your soul. The world often tells you that joy comes after everything becomes perfect. It says you will finally have peace when every problem is solved, every dream is fulfilled, and every prayer is answered exactly as you hoped. But my beloved child, if joy depends only upon perfect circumstances, it will always remain just beyond your reach. True joy grows from something far more lasting. It grows from remembering that I am with you through every season, whether the road is smooth or difficult. Think of a garden after a gentle rain. The flowers do not wait until every cloud disappears before they begin to bloom. The rain itself becomes part of what nourishes them. What seemed like an interruption becomes a source of life. In the same way, many of the seasons you once wished would end have quietly nourished qualities within you that could have grown in no other way. Patience, compassion, wisdom, humility, and deeper faith have all taken root because I have been working through every season, not only the easy ones. There have been times when your attention became so focused on what you lacked that you overlooked what you had already received. You searched for the next blessing while forgetting the blessings that had faithfully carried you to this very moment. Yet look at your life, my beloved child. You have been sustained through trials you never thought you would survive. You have received strength on mornings when you believed you had none left. You have experienced unexpected kindness, quiet moments of peace, and countless mercies that arrive exactly when they were needed. These gifts may have seemed ordinary, but they were expressions of my love surrounding you every single day. Gratitude changes the way you see the world because it changes the way you see me. Instead of asking only, "What is still missing?" you begin asking, "Where has my Father already been faithful?" That question opens your eyes to blessings that worry often hides. You begin noticing the beauty of a sunrise, the comfort of a gentle conversation, the laughter of those you love, the strength to begin another day, and the quiet assurance of my presence resting upon your heart. These are not small things. They are daily reminders that my care for you has never stopped. My beloved child, gratitude is not denying your pain. It is refusing to let pain become the only voice that shapes your perspective. You can acknowledge your struggles while still remembering my goodness. You can carry unanswered questions while still giving thanks for the ways I have already provided. Gratitude and faith walk together because both choose to trust that my love remains constant, even when life feels uncertain. Remember the journey we have already walked together. There were seasons when you thought you would never recover from heartbreak, yet I gently healed your heart. There were moments when fear seemed stronger than hope, yet I gave you courage to keep moving forward. There were times when you believed you had reached the end of your strength, yet somehow you continued. Those were not accidents. They were signs of my faithful hand carrying you through every valley. You not allow comparison to steal the gratitude growing within you. When you constantly measure your life against someone else's journey, you become blind to the beautiful work I am doing in your own. Every person has a different path because every purpose is unique. Celebrate the blessings I have given others without doubting the blessings I am preparing for you. A thankful heart has no need to compete because it trusts that my love is more than enough. Gratitude also transforms the way you treat the people around you. When your heart remembers how much mercy you have received, it becomes easier to extend mercy to others. When you remember how patiently I have walked with you, you become more patient with those who are still growing. When you recognize how generously I have cared for you, generosity begins to flow naturally from your own life. Gratitude does not remain hidden within your heart. It becomes visible through your words, your actions, and the kindness you offer every day. My beloved child, begin each morning by remembering my faithfulness before you focus on your fears. Let your first thoughts be filled with the assurance that I have already gone before you into the day ahead. At the close of each evening, instead of counting only your struggles, count the ways my grace sustained you. You will discover that even on difficult days, my goodness has been present in more ways than you realized. Joy is not something you must chase across distant horizons. It grows quietly wherever gratitude takes root. As you continue thanking me for what I have already done, your heart becomes ready to receive what I am still preparing. You begin to walk with lighter steps because trust replaces constant striving. Hope becomes stronger than disappointment. Peace becomes deeper than worry. So lift your heart in thanksgiving today, my beloved child. Thank me not only for the blessings you have already seen, but also for the ones that are still on their way. Give thanks for the strength I have provided, the lessons I have taught, the love that has never left you, and the future I am faithfully preparing. As gratitude fills your heart, you will discover that joy has been waiting at the doorway all along, ready to enter the moment you chose to remember that my goodness has surrounded you every step of your journey. My beloved child, keep walking even when you cannot see everything ahead. I know there are moments when you wish the entire path were laid out before your eyes. You long for certainty because certainty feels safe. You want to know how every prayer will be answered, how every challenge will end, and how every promise will come to pass. But I have never asked you to understand every step before taking it. I have asked you to trust the one who has already walked the road before you. There are seasons when the future appears like a path covered in morning fog. You can see only a few steps ahead, while everything beyond remains hidden. At first, this uncertainty may seem frightening. You wonder whether the road is safe, whether you are moving in the right direction, or whether you will reach the place you hope to find. Yet as you continue walking, the fog slowly begins to lift. More of the path becomes visible. The destination that once seemed impossible to imagine gradually comes into view. My beloved child, your journey with me often unfolds in this very way. I do not reveal everything at once, because each step prepares your heart for the next. If I showed you the entire journey from the beginning, there would be blessings you could not yet appreciate and challenges that might overwhelm your heart before you were ready. Instead, I lovingly guide you one day at a time. Every sunrise carries fresh grace. Every new morning brings strength designed specifically for that day. I do not ask you to carry tomorrow's burdens while you are still living today. I simply ask you to walk faithfully with me in the present moment. Think of a shepherd leading a flock through winding hills. The sheep do not know every turn in the trail. They cannot see the green pastures waiting beyond the next ridge. They simply recognize the shepherd's voice and continue following. Because they trust the one leading them, they arrive safely at places they never could have found alone. My beloved child, I am your shepherd. My voice is trustworthy even when the path seems unfamiliar. Stay close to me, and I will lead you where your own understanding could never take you. There have been times when uncertainty tempted you to stop moving altogether. You feared making the wrong decision, so you delayed making any decision. You worried that one mistake might somehow ruin the beautiful future I had prepared. But listen carefully to my heart. My purpose for your life is not so fragile that one imperfect step can destroy it. When your heart sincerely seeks me, I am fully able to guide, redirect, and restore. My grace is greater than your uncertainty. Do not let fear of the unknown become the reason you remain standing still. Remember how many times in the past you did not know how everything would work out. There were seasons when the future seemed completely unclear, yet one day at a time, I faithfully brought you through. At the beginning of those journeys, you could not imagine how I would provide. You could not foresee the people I would send, the doors I would open, or the strength I would give you. Yet looking back now, you can see my hand woven throughout every chapter. The same faithfulness that guided you then is guiding you now. My beloved child, faith does not grow by seeing every answer before you begin. Faith grows by discovering my faithfulness one step at a time. Every day you choose to trust me instead of fear, your roots grow deeper. Every time you obey my gentle leading, even without complete understanding, your confidence becomes stronger. The journey itself becomes the place where our relationship deepens. You begin to know my heart, not simply my blessings. Do not become discouraged because you cannot yet see the full picture. A child working on a puzzle may become frustrated because only a few pieces seem to fit together. But the one holding the picture on the box already knows how every piece belongs. My beloved child, I hold the complete picture of your life. The pieces that seem confusing today will one day reveal their purpose. What appears disconnected now will eventually become part of a beautiful design that displays my wisdom and my love. There may be days when progress feels slow. There may be moments when the road seems to wind in unexpected directions. Resist the temptation to believe that every detour is a mistake. Some of the most beautiful places in your journey will be discovered along paths you never planned to take. I am able to use every season, every delay, every unexpected turn, and every challenge to accomplish my purpose within you. Nothing surrendered into my hands is ever wasted. My beloved child, keep your eyes fixed on my presence rather than on your uncertainty. Let my promises become more familiar to you than your fears. Speak with me throughout your day. Invite me into your decisions, your questions, your joys, and your concerns. I delight in walking closely with you. You were never created to carry the journey alone or to find your way by your own wisdom. You were created to walk hand in hand with your Heavenly Father. So continue moving forward with quiet confidence. Do not wait until every question has been answered before taking the next faithful step. Walk through the fog knowing that my light is already shining ahead of you. Trust that my hand is steady, my guidance is sure, and my love is unwavering. The path may not always be fully visible, but the one leading you has never lost his way. Keep walking, my beloved child. Every step of faith is bringing you closer to the beautiful future I have lovingly prepared, and every moment spent trusting me is shaping your heart for the joy that awaits just beyond the horizon. My beloved child, my promises have not changed. The world around you changes constantly. Seasons come and go. People change. Circumstances rise and fall. Plans are made and then altered. What one seems certain is only be held uncertain. In the middle of all this change, it is easy for your heart to wonder if anything can truly be depended upon. But I want you to rest in this unshakable truth. While everything around you may change, my love, my character, and my promises remain the same forever. There have been moments when disappointment tempted you to believe that my promises no longer applied to your life. You waited for answers that seemed delayed. You prayed for breakthroughs that had not yet appeared. You watched doors remain closed and quietly wondered whether you had misunderstood my voice. My beloved child, unanswered questions do not cancel my faithfulness. Delayed answers do not erase my promises. The passing of time does not weaken my word. What I have spoken over your life remains secure because it rests upon my unchanging nature, not upon changing circumstances. Think about the stars that shine in the night sky. Long before you were born, they were already in their place. Generation after generation has looked upward and found them faithfully appearing again. Clouds may temporarily hide them from view, but the stars have not disappeared. They remain exactly where I placed them. In the same way, there are seasons when my promises seem hidden behind clouds of uncertainty. You may not see their fulfillment immediately, but they have not vanished. They remain established by my faithfulness, waiting for the moment I have appointed. There are promises I have whispered into your heart during quiet moments with me. Promises of peace when fear surrounded you. Promises of hope when discouragement tried to take root. Promises of purpose when you questioned your direction. Promises of my presence when loneliness became overwhelming. Those promises were never meant to depend upon your emotions. Some days you will feel strong. Other days you may feel uncertain. But my truth does not rise and fall with your feelings. It remains steady because I remain steady. My beloved child, do not confuse the silence between planting and harvest with the absence of life. A seed buried beneath the soil does not question whether spring will come. It simply remains where it has been planted until the season of growth arrives. In the same way, remain rooted in my promises even when you cannot yet see their fulfillment. Faith is not built upon immediate results. Faith grows stronger by remembering that the one who made the promise is completely trustworthy. There have been times when you questioned your own worth because life did not unfold according to your expectations. You wondered if your mistakes had somehow disqualified you from receiving my blessings. Hear my voice clearly today. My promises were never based upon your perfection. They have always been rooted in my grace. I knew every weakness you would face before I called you my beloved child. I knew every moment you would stumble, every tear you would cry, and every question you would ask. Yet none of those things change my heart toward you. My mercy continues where your strength reaches its limit. Remember all the ways I have already proven my faithfulness. Think about the prayers I answered in unexpected ways. Remember the strength I gave you during seasons when you believed you had none. Recall the comfort that arrived when your heart was overwhelmed. Look back at the doors I opened after long periods of waiting. Those memories are not simply moments from your past. They are living reminders that my promises have always carried you, even when you did not recognize my hand at work. The enemy of your peace often tries to convince you that because one chapter was difficult, the entire story will end in disappointment. But that is not my voice. I do not write stories of hopelessness for my children. Even when a chapter contains sorrow, I continue writing toward redemption. Even when tears fill the pages, my purpose continues unfolding. Trust the author more than the unfinished chapter. I already know how the story ends, and it ends with my faithfulness shining brighter than every trial you have endured. My beloved child, hold tightly to my promises when your circumstances try to tell a different story. Let my truth become the anchor that steadies your heart in every storm. Speak my promises over your fears. Remember them when doubt whispers its lies. Return to them when disappointment tries to cloud your vision. My words are not empty wishes. They are the expression of my eternal heart toward you. As you continue walking through the days ahead, do not measure my faithfulness by what you have not yet received. Measure it by who I have always been. I have always been your refuge. I have always been your provider. I have always been your comforter. I have always been your guide. I have always been your loving Father. Those truths have never changed, and they never will. So lift your heart with confidence today, my beloved child. Stand upon my promises with quiet assurance. The winds may blow, the seasons may change, and the road may still contain unexpected turns, but my word remains firm beneath your feet. What I have begun in your life, I will continue. What I have promised, I will accomplish in my perfect way and in my perfect time. Trust me through every chapter still to come, because my promises are as constant as my love, and my love for you will never fail. It has held you from the beginning, it sustains you today, and it will faithfully carry you into every tomorrow I have prepared for you. My beloved child, the best is still being prepared. I know there have been times when you looked behind you more often than you looked ahead. You remembered seasons when life seemed simpler, opportunities that slipped away, and moments you wished you could relive. You wondered if your greatest joys had already passed you by. You questioned whether there was still something beautiful waiting for you or whether your brightest days belonged only to the past. But I want you to hear my heart clearly today. I have not finished blessing you. I have not finished restoring you. I have not finished revealing the beautiful plans I have lovingly prepared for your life. You often think of preparation as something that only happens within you, but I have also been preparing circumstances around you. While you have been growing in faith, patience, and wisdom, I have been arranging moments you have not yet experienced. I have been opening paths you cannot yet see. I have been bringing together people whose lives will one day intersect with yours. I have been working behind scenes that remain hidden from your eyes. Nothing about your future has been left to chance. Every detail rests safely within my loving hands. Think about a gardener planting an orchard. The seeds disappear beneath the soil long before the first fruit appears. Months pass, seasons change, and at times it may seem as though nothing is happening. Yet beneath the surface, roots are spreading, branches are forming, and life is quietly growing. The harvest is not absent simply because it has not yet become visible. It is being prepared. My beloved child, this is the season many of your prayers are in. They are not forgotten. They are growing beneath the surface according to my perfect timing. There are blessings I have protected for you because they required the right season to unfold. If they had arrived too early, you might not have recognized their value. If they had come before your heart was ready, you may have missed the deeper purpose within them. My delays have never been acts of neglect. They have always been acts of love. I know when every gift will strengthen you instead of distracting you. I know when every opportunity will help you fulfill your purpose instead of leading you away from it. My beloved child, never believe the lie that your age, your past, or your present circumstances limit what I am able to do. I am not confined by the boundaries that people create. I do not look at your life and see missed opportunities beyond recovery. I see possibilities that my grace continues to create. Every new day carries fresh opportunities for hope, healing, and purpose. As long as I have given you breath, I am still writing new chapters that can reveal my goodness. There are dreams within you that have become quiet because disappointment taught you to expect less. You stopped praying with the same confidence you once had. You stopped imagining a brighter future because waiting became tiring. But I am gently awakening hope within you once again. Not every dream needs to remain buried. Some of them are simply waiting for the season I have already prepared. Lift your eyes beyond what has not yet happened and begin expecting my faithfulness once more. Remember how many times in your life you believed a situation could never change, only to discover later that I had already been working in ways you never imagined. What seemed impossible became possible. What appeared hopeless became a testimony. Those moments were not exceptions to my faithfulness. They were reminders of who I have always been. If I have surprised you with my goodness before, why would you believe I have stopped now? Sometimes your greatest obstacle is not the challenge before you, but the expectation that nothing will ever improve. Discouragement slowly lowers your vision until you no longer expect beautiful things to happen. Yet expectation rooted in my promises opens your heart to receive what I am preparing. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is the confident assurance that my love continues working even when your eyes cannot yet see the evidence. My beloved child, I want you to begin preparing your heart for joy again. Prepare your heart to laugh without fear. Prepare your heart to trust without constantly expecting disappointment. Prepare your heart to receive kindness without wondering when it will end. Prepare your heart to dream again, because I am not finished revealing the beautiful future I have planned for you. The lessons of your past have made you wiser, but they were never meant to make you fearful. Let wisdom remain, but let fear go. As you continue walking with me, you will notice small signs that the new season is drawing near. You will recognize fresh peace where anxiety once lived. You will discover new strength where weariness once remained. You will meet people who encourage your purpose rather than diminish it. You will find doors opening that once seemed permanently closed. These are not random events. They are reminders that my preparation has been unfolding all along. So do not settle for believing that your story has already reached its greatest moments. Refuse to let discouragement become the lens through which you view your future. I am the God of new beginnings, fresh mercies, and unexpected blessings. The pages ahead of you are filled with opportunities to witness my faithfulness in ways you have not yet imagined. Walk forward with anticipation, my beloved child. Lift your head, strengthen your heart, and keep trusting my timing. The best is not behind you. It is still being prepared. Every prayer, every lesson, every season of waiting, and every act of faith has been leading toward a future that reflects my perfect wisdom and my unfailing love. Stay close to me, and when the appointed time arrives, you will look back with gratitude and realize that while you thought you were only waiting, I was preparing something far more beautiful than anything you could have imagined on your own. My beloved child, this message was always me calling your name. From the very first moment you began listening, I was not speaking to a crowd. I was speaking to you. Every word has been an invitation to draw closer to my heart. Every reminder has been placed before you with love. Every promise has been spoken because I know your journey, your questions, your tears, and your hopes more deeply than anyone else ever could. This was never a coincidence. It was never an accident. Long before this moment arrived, I knew the exact day your heart would need these words. You may have wondered at times, could this really be for me? My beloved child, I have answered that question again and again throughout this journey. Yes, it is for you. I know the burdens you have quietly carried. I know the dreams you have almost stopped believing. I know the fears you tried to hide behind a brave face. I know the prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. I have always known, and because I have always known, I have also always been near. As you look back over everything I have spoken to your heart, notice how my love has remained the same. I reminded you that I have seen every hidden battle. I reminded you that my silence never meant my absence. I reminded you that I have been healing wounds no one else could see. I encouraged you to release burdens that were never yours to carry. I reminded you that your past does not define your future, that your purpose is secure in my hands, and that my promises remain unchanged. None of those words were empty comfort. They were truth flowing from the heart of your Father. Imagine a lighthouse standing firmly upon the shore through countless storms. The waves crash against the rocks. Fierce winds howled through the night. Thick fog covers the sea. Yet the light continues shining without growing weary. Ships may lose sight of the shoreline, but the lighthouse never stops pointing the way home. My beloved child, I have been the light throughout your life. There were seasons when you could barely see me because fear, sorrow, or confusion surrounded you like thick fog. Yet I never stopped shining my love toward you. Even when you lost your sense of direction, I never lost sight of you. There were moments when you believed you had wandered too far. You questioned whether you still belonged close to me. But listen carefully to my heart. A loving father does not stop calling for his child because the child has become lost. He calls even more tenderly. He searches even more faithfully. My love has never been based upon how perfectly you walked. It has always been rooted in who I am. You have always been my beloved child, even in seasons when you struggled to believe it. Perhaps there are still questions you carry today. Perhaps some prayers remain unanswered. Perhaps certain paths still seem uncertain. That does not trouble me. Faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is the decision to keep holding my hand while the answers are still unfolding. You do not need to understand everything before trusting me. You only need to remember that the one leading you has never failed you. I want you to carry something with you long after these words have ended. Carry the certainty that you are deeply known. Carry the confidence that you are completely loved. Carry the assurance that your life has purpose beyond what you can presently see. When fear returns, remember my voice. When disappointment tries to speak louder than hope, remember my promises. When loneliness whispers that no one understands, remember that I know every corner of your heart, and I remain with you always. Do not return to believing that you must earn my love through perfect performance. You could never purchase what I have already freely given. My love is not a reward for those who never stumble. It is the steady embrace that lifts my children whenever they fall. Come to me with your victories, and come to me with your failures. Come to me with your joy, and come to me with your sorrow. My arms remain open through every season because my heart toward you never changes. My beloved child, from this day forward, choose to listen more carefully for my voice than for the voices of fear, doubt, or discouragement. The world will continue offering many opinions about your worth, your future, and your identity. But let my truth become the foundation upon which you build your life. When you know who I say you are, the changing opinions of the world lose their power. As this journey together draws near its final chapter, I want you to remember the title that first brought you here. This message was prepared especially for you. It was not simply a collection of comforting words. It was my loving invitation to trust me more deeply, to walk with me more closely, and to rest more completely in my unfailing love. Let these truths remain alive within your heart. Let them guide your steps, strengthen your faith, and fill your days with hope. Keep walking beside me, my beloved child, because the story I am writing with your life is still unfolding, and the final chapter will reveal even more of my faithfulness than you have yet imagined. The next and final section will be part 30, which will conclude the entire script, include the second support message, 10-12 sentences, summarize the message, speak a final blessing, and end with the single word Amen. My beloved child, we have walked together through every part of this journey, and now we arrive at this final moment. Before these words come to an end, I want you to pause and remember everything I have spoken into your heart. Remember that you were never forgotten. Remember that you were never abandoned. Remember that every tear you cried was seen, every prayer you whispered was heard, and every step you took, even the uncertain ones, was watched over by my loving eyes. Nothing in your life has been meaningless. Every season has carried my presence, even when you could not recognize it. When you first arrived here, you may have wondered whether this message was truly meant for you. Now I want you to leave without any doubt. Yes, it was for you. I knew exactly what your heart needed before you ever began listening. I knew the fears that kept you awake at night. I knew the burdens you carried in silence. I knew the questions you were too tired to ask anymore. I also knew the hope that still quietly remained inside you, even when you thought it had disappeared. That small flame never went out because I have been protecting it with my own hands. My beloved child, life will continue bringing new seasons. There will be joyful days that fill your heart with gratitude. There may also be difficult days that test your faith once again. But do not return to believing that you must face them alone. Carry my words with you. When fear speaks, remember that I am your peace. When uncertainty rises, remember that I am your guide. When disappointment comes, remember that I am still writing your story. When your strength feels small, remember that my strength has never failed you and never will. Do not allow yesterday's pain to steal tomorrow's hope. Do not let temporary setbacks become permanent conclusions. Continue walking with confidence, not because every question has been answered, but because you know the one who holds every answer. Keep choosing forgiveness over bitterness, gratitude over complaint, faith over fear, and love over resentment. Every one of those choices draws your heart closer to mine and allows my light to shine more brightly through your life. I want you to become a living reminder of my goodness. Let your kindness speak where harshness once ruled. Let your compassion reach those who feel forgotten. Let your words bring hope to discouraged hearts. Let your life reflect the peace that I have placed within you. You do not need to change the entire world in one moment. Simply allow my love to flow through you, one person, one conversation, and one act of kindness at a time. Even the smallest light pushes back the darkness. There will be times when you look back on this moment and remember my voice calling you my beloved child. When those moments come, smile with confidence, because my heart toward you will not have changed. I will still be walking beside you. I will still be opening doors in my perfect timing. I will still be healing what needs healing, strengthening what has grown weary, and preparing blessings beyond what you can presently imagine. My faithfulness is not limited to this message. It will continue every day of your life. And now, my beloved child, before we part, I invite you into something that reaches far beyond this single message. If my words have strengthened your heart, let them continue strengthening hearts across the world through you. I say to you, sow where my light is bringing hope, and watch how I multiply that seed for my glory. My living promise declares that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, and I desire that blessing to rest upon your life. If you are able, honor this calling through super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal donation link waiting in the video description, and through the QR code provided in this video. Every gift offered with love becomes another lamp shining into someone's darkness and another seed planted for an eternal harvest. Do not see your generosity as a simple donation. See it as an act of worship and a declaration that my word must continue reaching those who are waiting for hope. I will bless every cheerful giver, strengthen every willing heart, and remember every act of obedience offered in love. Rise now, take your place in this mission, and let your generosity become a testimony that my light will continue reaching the ends of the earth. Now I place my blessing upon you. May your heart be filled with a peace that no storm can steal. May your mind rest securely in my promises. May your home be surrounded by my presence. May your steps be guided by my wisdom. May your hands find strength for every good work I place before you. May your nights be filled with restful assurance, and may your mornings begin with fresh hope. May healing continue where pain once lived. May courage rise wherever fear has lingered. May joy return to every place where sorrow tried to remain. And above all, may you never forget that you are deeply loved, completely known, forever cherished, and eternally held in the heart of your Heavenly Father. Walk forward without fear, my beloved child. The road ahead is already known to me. My hand will remain upon your life. My voice will continue guiding your heart. My love will never leave you. Until the day you see the fullness of everything I have promised, keep trusting, keep believing, keep loving, and keep walking with me. Amen.